X-Ray nearly got melted.
Yeah, Monk knocked there into the corner. The immortality field does come down, but he lands on the opposite side of the wall. He's knocked back up top. He's trying to stay alive. The stop comes in. Guangzhou will get the kill.
Not easy as well. I mean, it's Mandu having to put in the pack, which deals pretty slowly. Nanoblade coming on through. Pretty good so far. Needs to get a few more slashes.
Yeah, it does manage to take down Gesture. Right click's coming out. Fitz surviving for a little bit longer than you might have anticipated, but does fall in the end. Big pickup Void, now Lijiang gone, eliminated, and that's just point A gone. Effectively barring a miracle turnaround here. Izayaki's holding on by a thread, but Dynamite takes him down at the end. Great shots, back to back to back from the Shy.
And finally, I think he got the health pack, but backwards to point. Kron finds over 3. The Pilot Diva pistol doing some work as Kron literally picks him up. And it's Choice! He got to the back door, picked off 2, and the Charge staying in it.
Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to carry on here with the Overwatch League APAC edition. I'm Ilios, hopping in yet again alongside Avril to bring you the rest of the action. We've got one more series for you here today, and it's a damn important one, Avril. This is going to be the Guangzhou Charge going up against the Hangzhou Spark. I know you've got some stats as well as some routes here for the Guangzhou Charge to lay down, so go ahead and dive straight in.
Yeah, this is going to be the final match of the regular season for both teams and actually for the entire Eastern Division as well. So after this, we're all done and dusted. The regular season is officially over, and beyond that, it's play-ins for, or rather knockouts for the Countdown Cup, and then play-ins, playoffs, and all of that afterwards. So that's kind of what everyone's playing for currently, and technically speaking, both of these teams still have a pathway into the play-ins. Only one has a pathway into the actual Countdown Cup, and that's the Guangzhou Charge. They must win this match 3-1 at minimum to qualify into the knockouts tomorrow to get into the Countdown Cup. If it's 3-2, it's not going to be good enough. 3-0 is obviously going to be even better than that. So Hangzhou Spark, they could play Spoiler here, and them playing Spoiler actually has other implications as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at Choi Se-Hwan as a player, and I want to highlight onto the Guangzhou Charge side as well, because this is someone that just took a play of the match last night in their matchup versus the LA Valiant, which, you know, to be fair, versus the LA Valiant, everyone's going to have a great match, and you're going to be padding your stats, you're going to be looking great, but Choi Se-Hwan's Tracer has also been quite a bit of a force to deal with here. This, along with the Farah, has been his 2 defining picks so far to really get Charged some distance, and honestly, looking at this particular match here, it's, you know, the classic Joe-off between Hangzhou Spark and the Guangzhou Charge. Usually, you'd probably, if you looked at the Hangzhou Spark, said, maybe it's Hangzhou Spark favored. Honestly, Charge have been on the up and up, and I think they got a fair shot here.
Yeah, they absolutely do. I mean, the Charge have been looking so very good, but of course, on the other side of the Hangzhou Spark, I mean, very well-known names there. Coldest looking great as well, coming out there on the support line as of late, but Shy, Architect, Guangzhou, very scary players to have to contend with. We'll see if Choi Se-Hwan and co are going to be up to the task. There's a lot of pressure on the Guangzhou Charge, as you laid out. They need to have a fairly clean victory if they want to be able to advance forward. They want to get jazzed up. They want to build up the hype, both for the players and the fans. So we got a nice little video for you to get the fans hyped up, so enjoy. Well, if that doesn't get you jazzed up, then I don't know what will. I wish we had some more teams that would come together for some nice little intro videos. But here we go, Avril, the starting 6 for the side of the Guangzhou Charge. And it's all the same, which is exactly what you want to see if you're a Charge fan. You don't really want to see any changes right now.
I don't think they have many changes to play through. I mean, technically, you still have the tank position has Juhun waiting by the sides, but the Charge have chosen to go with Rio the entire time here for a bit of consistency. Mike Haley is now a 2-way player, so unlikely to be seen. Also, Eileen's been honestly popping off extremely hard for his team. Let's take a look now at the Hangzhou Spark starting lineup here, and the interesting thing to note, as we saw yesterday, Mika and Coldest have replaced MCD and IDK on the starting lineup, and that has remained consistent up until today as well. Everything else, pretty much the same as we expected. Somasu, I don't believe, has really taken any game time so far in this particular stage. Somasu was playing a reasonable amount of the Sombra previously, but now that's kind of that role has been kind of shifted over towards Shy and Architect taking over the Tracer. So Hangzhou Spark now getting ready to, despite not being able to qualify through to the Countdown Cup, they can still get one more league point here, which is really important for them to try and secure to get one over the New York Excelsior, who are their closest rivals. New York, by the way, a team that is waiting on the sidelines, who at this stage, we talked about this a little bit before we got into the game here, Ilios, just off stream, but we kind of covered the last New York game that happened versus the Chengdu Hunters, and at the time, I didn't realize it, but now looking backwards, that could be, and could have been, the very last time we see New York Excelsior play this entire year, this entire season, if New York do not make it to the Countdown Cup, and then subsequently do not then make it to the play-ins, and that all is predicated on whether Guangzhou go in or not. If Guangzhou qualify through to the Countdown Cup, New York season is over. If Guangzhou Charge do not qualify into the Countdown Cup, New York have once again been extended a lifeline, and there is still an opportunity for New York to continue the season.
I mean, it feels like they've gotten so many lifelines. I mean, including getting that,
fully equivalent to at the stage.
That heavily sarcastic trip to Hawaii. How many escape ropes do they have in the backpack? Did they decide to stop at the Mart before they went off adventuring? We're going to find out. But I think with that single sentence, you just turned a lot of people against the Guangzhou Charge that are watching right now, because the New York fans, they might not necessarily realize how important this series is for their team to advance. So we'll see what happens now as we start things off. We're obviously here on Ilios at Well. Shy moving back over to the Hangzhou, which he was just putting an absolute clinic together on this pick yesterday. We'll see how he fares now. It's going to be tracers for both sides, but Eileen's looking to stick with the McCree.
And it just means, Ilios, that maybe the Guangzhou Charge fans need to come out in full force as well, because it's an equally important match for them to break on through in their season. Survival rests upon it. You talk about Shy on the Hangzhou. Eileen still has Hangzhou as well. Isn't showing it yet. First fight's coming on through, and Eileen gets first blood.
Yep, very nice pick-off and a very delayed first blood, I might say. So Mika going down, Coldest under some pressure, as is Bernard. Choisewan gets his way into the back. It's going to be the eliminations following. Seems like the Guangzhou Charge should be able to turn this point on its head. Dive comes in, they'll get on top of Shy and finish him off. Eileen just going to be sent plummeting into, I believe, off the side of the map, actually, not the actual well. But the Guangzhou Charge will go ahead and lock this down first and foremost.
Really important as well, because they are running the risk of composition. They want to make sure they can bunker up somewhere on the map and they don't have to be the ones retaking. So we Hangzhou Spark now via Gushui on towards this ball to kind of find some entry. Straight away they'll be up against Kareev on the Matrix though, so Shy needs to save his Dragon Strike specifically to make sure that Charge cannot make use of that window. Or they can just use it now.
Okay, yeah, they go ahead, throw that out. Pulse Bomb going to come in, but Architect gives his life for it and finds nothing in exchange. Choice they want in the meantime. Pulse Bomb will get Coldest, just going to be further delaying any presence on the point for the side of the Hangzhou Spark, as well as that build time for the Transcendence, which Coldest, I think right about now, would so desperately love to have. Right. Architect's going to go for a swap over to the Widowmaker for just a shot there as they were playing forward. Now we'll shift over to the Genji, so very big change up as the Shimada brothers are going to make an appearance.
I'm not too sure what Shy was thinking about the Dragon Strike, like what it was actually specifically targeting. Probably Rio, has to be the guess. It's going to be Minefield coming through for Gushui, but still no frags for Shy. I mean, Shy is currently on 0 final blows and 0 eliminations. So we have to see Shy come big on this kind of hero gameplay that he was known for yesterday, because so far, well, there it is, finally he shows up.
All right, gets that first shot, but they do lose Gushui at the same time, so that forward presence going to be lacking a little bit more. Gets a nice shot, tries to predict the recall position of Choisewan, doesn't quite land it up to find a punish. They press forward. It's going to be the Dragon Strike out the side. Might get some good damage on a Rio. Immortality Field comes through, however, and he just kites his way, playing ring around the rows through the doorways to keep himself safe. Shy gets another headshot, though, this time on the Choisewan, alleviating quite a bit of pressure here for his back line. Looks to line up, looks to take down these supports. If he could just get through this Diva, just get through that D-Matrix, he finally will nail one there onto Mandu. Flip not yet coming through, though. Rio still playing the corner. Looks to scout out. Bernard going to lose out on his mech. Kwong finds that, and Shy gets jumped on. Architect comes through, however, dashes in, manages to find one. The blade drawn, comes up with another kill. Taking out Rio, gets the Immortality Field, but Eileen will cut him down before he can do any more damage. Point, however, has been flipped over into the Spark's favor. Just 1% shy of 99. It's a long climb for them now if they want to take this first round.
Speaking of Shy, by the way, as you mentioned, I mean, look at that. Asking you shall receive. He wasn't really showing up just yet. Wasn't really able to really kind of flex his ability to get on the kill feed. Then instantly 3 final blows in a row. Beautiful headshot on the choice of 1 as well. And I saw about that Architect Dragonblade. That's some old school Architect players coming through. Yep. Finally now, Mortality Field Force for the charge. See if they can get on the point.
That's the one ult that the Spark did have at their disposal used. Amp Matrix now to try to escort the charge forward. Bernard losing out on the mech. Gushue going to be taken down. The flip is coming in. And now with these extended picks coming through, I mean, Coldest well into the back lines, just taken down by Eileen as he finds 2. The rally rolling. They'll touch in for just a brief moment. Bernard manages to remech, but it's just he and Gushue versus the world at the moment. And I don't know if this minefield that Gushue's about to have is going to buy them any position realistically. He'll come charging in. They whip shot him back. He is instantly dead in midair. No opportunity given to use that ult. And the closeout will come in. Only 38% picked up for the Spark. And it looks like the Guangzhou Charge are absolutely starving to get this win and get it clean.
Absolutely. I mean, they know how much this is going to mean to them. You look at Hangzhou Spark, and they have a fair shot at making play-ins almost no matter what happens today because they have a considerable lead over Guangzhou Charge as far as league points go. And even better than that is if Charge beat Hangzhou Spark, New York are eliminated. New York, in terms of Hangzhou Spark's wishes here, because New York are the closest competitor in league points to the Hangzhou Spark. So, in a strange way, Ilios, either result here kind of works in favor of the Hangzhou Spark. Whether Guangzhou win or not today for the Hangzhou Spark, you know, the other team would still have to really do some real damage going into the Countdown Cup, and Guangzhou Charge at least have faith in their own hands currently, as you know they'll get this Orisa composition underway once again. They wasted no time on that last contest, and unfortunately Hangzhou Spark just didn't have any ultimates to do anything about Rio on the Orisa.
I mean, it's a nice bubble pile driver there from Gushue, but so much crowd control comes through in the back end. The flashbang, the halt to keep him in position, shield bash. There's just no way to survive that. So gives his life early, and it seems like the Charge might yet again get this first lockdown on the point, this time considerably faster. Barrier set up as Rio positions forward, finds Coldest, knew that he was isolated off the flank. They get that punish onto the enemy's Zenyatta before he can get too much work done. Very nicely and concisely one fight here off the bat for the side of the Guangzhou Charge. Choice of 1 falling low, down 24 HP, stays alive. Just looking to hound Architect and keep him honest, but Architect has done a significant amount of damage, has to be said. Pulse Bomb is nearly online. It's
another fight, though, where Kareem's just going to be storming ahead in terms of Amp Matrix Charge, so it's going to be another window down, and they don't have a Dragon Strike this time from Shy to really do much about it. Even then, last fight, they didn't really, well, last map, they didn't really do too much. Nice kill to Eileen, though.
Yeah, just kind of lobbing that one through. I thought maybe Eileen was going to be able to evade that, but it seems like he didn't have the leap available. That said, on the back end, 3 kills come in as Karif finds 2 of them. Mondu will be traded out, but now with Bernard falling, Architect having used the recall already, and Gushue under threat of being pulse bombed and eliminated. They're just not going to be able to play forward on this point, so it's a nice little intro from Architect, but unfortunately it doesn't lead to anything.
I mean, they just don't have the ability to get past this window. Kareem will drop it down, gets, 2 to 3 final blows himself just out of it. A lot more ultimates online now for the Guangzhou Charge to get ready for this next fight, and it's another situation where Hangzhou Spark have to start from so far behind. It was a 0 to 98 situation. Now, so far, you haven't really seen much more. Coldest down again. It's the supports of the Hangzhou Spark side that are getting picked off early.
Okay, well, never mind. How the turns have tabled. Choice A1 trying to be the shark in the water, but instead just gets kind of blown up. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen Jaws, but the movie's over 30 years old, so it's your own damn fault. Architect does get picked off, so now they have to wait for him to come back in. Rally available here from Mondu, try to keep everybody alive, and I mean, this is just not realistically going to be a blade at all unless they can get this flip and then defend.
They need the grab.
It's got to be the
grab
grab
has
dragon.
to be the weapon choice here. I mean, if Krong eats this, it's all over, and Krong is known to eat a lot of these ultimates away. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Bernard's walking up, he's looking at both tanks, and Krong is in his face already.
He's a hungry growing boy, and he wants to nom. We'll see if he can get it. Mortality Field's going to go down. They will not be able to deny this away. Now the Dragon Strike going to come crashing through. It seems like Shy, it's going to be a decent enough amount of damage dealt. Being said, though, it still ends up only being a 2 for 2. Tank line going to be gone, but supports and DPS still very much present for the side of the Charge, but they decide to pull back, play respectfully, and give this over to the Spark, so they will yet again get a second lease on life.
Man, that was so dangerous looking from Bernard's POV. He actually does a reasonably medium-range throw of that grab as well, which against a player like Krog, if you don't time it against his Matrix perfectly, you're in for a rough time here. But now Hangzhou Spark have an opportunity, but it's another uphill climb. As I said earlier, it's 0 to 98 on Well, now 0 to 99. They at least have double support ultimates. They have to find a way to dodge around this window, though. So we pop that down again.
Nice dive in. Choisewan finds Shy. I mean, if they can continuously pick him off like they have been managing to do, that is the deadliest member eliminated at any given moment. So, solid stuff. Pile driver from Guangzhou finds 2 on the high ground. Transcendence has been used by Coldest. And I mean, Pulse Bomb is still just being held here, so he can still just absolutely get obliterated by Choisewan in an instant. Dragon Blade comes in from Architect. He gets stunned up, and they all focus fire onto him. They manage to shut him down, but now it's turning into a bit of a bloodbath. Mondu going to fall. Kareev and Eileen also going to be out of the fight. A 2 for 3 so far. The self-destruct from Krong not going to be able to find anything, but Choisewan gets himself on top of Coldest, finds the elimination, but Shy will finish him off, but Rio comes in to get some revenge. That being said, it's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of eye for an eye, but it does not lead to the Charge getting back onto this point quite yet. Krong plays forward, but the minefield comes out to try to zone him back. He's starting to get the flip in, but the reinforcements come through from the side of the Spark. They can keep this hold going for a considerable amount of time. Supercharger going to be dropped in. Eileen to the Storm Arrows returns. Finds the elimination onto Guangzhou, and he nearly has another Dragon Strike ready to go.
They need to get on this very quickly. Dragon Strike, they can buy them some time to get in here, but Bernard probably has a touch. Guangzhou still rolling out from spawn. Currently, there's more ultimates online for the Charge. They're going to just rally any second.
Yep, there's the rally pop, as you say. Coldest again under fire. Bernard going to be demeched. The Zenyatta finished off. They will manage to find Krong, but I don't know if that's going to be good enough. Shy is fallen, as you say. They get the Baby Diva. They will just basically get everybody a team kill to close it in the end. A little bit closer in the second round, but Ilios goes the way of Guangzhou Charge 2-0 all the same. And that is exactly the start that they are looking for. As you said, Avril, need at minimum a 3-1, but now they're going to be starting the series up 1-0.
I know, yeah, and that means 2 more to go for the Charge. If they want their 3-0, potentially 4 more maps to go as well, and it just comes down to the fact that Orisa game played today. This Orisa composition that Charge are bringing out onto Ilios, pretty damn good. They've won both the neutrals, massive leads, 0.98 into an 0.99, and very difficult for the Hangzhou Spark rather to try and catch up there. They need a lot of massive outplays. Good initial kill from Architect on the Pulse Bomb into Eileen, but it wasn't enough. Kareev cleans them up, and from then onwards, it's all the Charge moving forward.
Yeah, very solid start here for the Charge. Can breathe a slight little sigh of relief, but they're not out of the woods yet. There's still very much an opportunity for the Spark to come back in this series. We'll see if they can do it, if they tie us up and really start making the Charge sweat, or if the Charge can stretch a 2-0 lead when we get ready to go into our second map. That's going to be coming at you in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere. Let them out.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League. The Overwatch League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, and we are back. Map 1 goes the way to the Guangzhou Charge, keeping their hopes alive and their heads above the water. Double-checked on it, by the way. Avril Jaws, 43 years old. Sorry, guys, my quick math's not that good when I'm rap godding all over the place, so I had to just kind of go back during the break and just kind of figure out. I knew it was 70-something, but it is what it is. That's not important, though. What is important is the Guangzhou Charge starting this series off 1-0 after winning on Ilios. Hangzhou Spark still very well could play spoiler, though. We said a 3-1 minimum is what they needed. This could end up going to a 5-map series if the Hangzhou Spark can kick it into high gear.
I do want to clarify one thing, though, because there might be some very confused people watching at home. Like, hang on a second. Jaws do be looking pretty good for 43. That guy looks like he's still in his 20s for a 43-year. No, we're talking about the movie here. Caster Jaws is in his late 20s, so he's not quite 43 yet. We'll all be there one day. But for now, like, yeah, absolutely right. Hangzhou Spark, they are not off to a great start. Maybe they need a bit of a warm-up. Could just be what we saw from Shai as well early on, where I made a comment about him not being particularly active on the Hangzhou, considering how active he has been on the Hangzhou, how dominant he has been on the Hangzhou. It took him a while to kind of get into the groove, and now maybe it'll take a while for Hangzhou Spark to get into the groove as well as we head into Map 2 and beyond. But outside of playing for this match between these two teams, something you guys can do at home as well is vote for who you think the 2021 season MVP is going to be. So MVP voting has begun and started now. Head to overwatchleague.com/MVP to vote for, who you think is the MVP of the season out of the 10 candidates there, of which I believe there's a perfect 5-5 split between the East and West divisions. You got like 3 Dragons members there with Leave and Profit as well, representing this particular region here. So plenty of good players. Unfortunately, no one from Charge or Spark. I think maybe if Spark had a little bit more of a dominant season, Shai could have made the list, but still time for the Hangzhou Spark to perhaps get into the play-ins if they can sort of get by both the Charge and the York Excelsior as far as points goes, and still room for Shai to get a lot of work done.
There's always that Rookie of the Year potential as well for Shai, who's just been impressing since the very beginning. So even if you can't quite get the MVP award, still walk away with something, because he has looked phenomenal for the squad. And I think it's fairly reasonable to say that the Spark, albeit not having the greatest season, we didn't see Shai off the very beginning. And I think that if you kind of removed him, if he wasn't in the picture, we would see the Hangzhou Spark in not as strong of a position as they have been in throughout the stretch.
We've literally seen the team without Shai, so it's very easy to compare what they look like with them without Shai as far as who's valuable to the team. So there it is.
Yeah, so I think that there's a very good case for him to be made in that position as well. But yeah, either way, vote APAC, guys. You know what the better region is. It's right here. You're watching it. But maybe not necessarily between these two teams. But hey, they've both had their moments, and the Charge are massively on a huge come-up, and they have been in the last few series. So let's see if they can continue onward, because, I mean, man, what a way to go out in the final tournament if they could just end this right here 3-0, go in, qualify in here for the last tournament, and just absolutely slaughter it. That would be huge, and that would be massive vindication for the Charge fans who have stuck by them throughout this entire turmoil-filled season.
Now, they would have to get how many points here? So they're currently on 4 points.
A lot.
Versus the Spark would mean 5 points. They have to get 8 points total. So 3 points after this, which means, do they have to win the Countdown Cup? They'd have to get close. They have to win 3 matches in the Countdown Cup, which, essentially means you either go all the way through the lower bracket or what. I think you might actually have to win. Either case, it's going to be a long journey. There is a possibility. There is a way for the Charge to still make it into the play-ins. But to do that would honestly, I think you do have to win. No, I've confirmed it. They have to win the Countdown Cup. So if there's a will, there's a way, and this is one of those Doctor Strange 1 in 14 million scenarios, but it is possible.
It is, and again, we talk about how the stats typically don't lie. Guangzhou Charge have never dropped Volskaya Industries to the Hangzhou Spark in their history as organizations. So let's see how they fare here. 3-0 so far as the map record. Architect going to be coming back out with the Tracer. Shai here on this Hangzhou. Eileen not looking to match that 1-for-1, is yet again going to be on the McCree, which did get some significant work done for them. But Shai finds the opening pick. Off to a significantly hotter start this time around, even though the webcam is frozen. It looks like he's taking a nap. But that's just how good he is, guys. Eyes closed, doesn't give a damn. He's still popping heads.
He's like, he looks like he's asleep and he's just destroying. He still looks like he's asleep and he's destroying everyone on the outside. Eileen's just taking pot shots from a distance. And managed to get a little bit of room done here as well. It's Eileen gone now. I can't get over that picture.
I can't believe it. He's just trusting in the force. He's taking the visor off. Just in onto the point. Rio goes down, and that is just them shattering the defenses of the Guangzhou Charge here on point A. And this is going to be a massive time bank now to try and shoot through.
It's simply far too powerful. That's why he's not the MVP list. I mean, he just won it. You got to give other people a chance. He's still asleep right now. He's literally playing eyes closed. They got a pretty decent time over on towards A. I mean, Shy's so far up. A hasn't even been capped yet, and Shy's already on B trying to get a frag.
Yeah, he's trying to get a frag. He's trying to get that Dragon Strike online. I mean, at this point, he could probably just lap Bernard and get a second Dragon Strike by the time Bernard gets the Graviton Surge ready. Eileen, just scouting, spots him through the window, says, yep, everybody play around these sidelines. He gets a nice hit in, though. Kariv,
it's good slam.
There's some pressure. Immortality Field's going to be used, and now Architect, he sees that. He's on the hunt, pushes in, throws it down straight on the floor. Won't find any eliminations, though, but he's still playing up close and personal with Kariv, and here is Shy, still just snoozing away, still just pumping with the damage. Storm arrows come in. Kariv knocked down, will fall. Eileen, let's get that crossfire coming in as he makes his way into the back line of the team. It's a couple nice head taps there onto Gushue, sets up for the rest of the team to pile in and get the elimination, and that'll be the end of this initial attack.
The only issue here is that Shy did burn Dragon Strike. They didn't really wait for Bernard to find a grab yet, so will be some time before they can really get this combo together for a 2CP map on B to really finish Assault Kit and to get a time bank. I think you do need to overwhelmingly take over in this attack, have more ultimates, have more advantages generally speaking, and have these kind of one and done combos like a Grab Dragon.
Alright, Kushway is pile driving into the back. Hole is however going to be picked off. Eileen with some nice headshots yet again, finds that elimination. Is in a bit of a rough spot though, and nobody can come into peel, so Gushue will just get that takedown. Eliminating the enemy McCree, but significantly faster runbacks, and Bernard just gets leapt on by Choi Se-Wan. As he comes up with 3 eliminations. Very nicely done from him, making a 4th as Architect will fall on the back end. And well, it's a decent start here for the side of the Charge with this defense, but it's still 4 more minutes to go.
I will say, despite not having the Dragon, they can get the Pulse Bomb here, so either one of Architect or Shy can combo with the Graviton Surge of Bernard here. Again, assuming that Krong just doesn't eat it away, but there's so many ultimates on the side of the Guangzhou Charge that they have the staying power. They would have to make some big mistakes here to kind of lose this point. They haven't given away a tick. There's been a reasonable amount of time available for the time bank on Spark to get the speed point, but it's going to take them even longer here. They need to bleed way more ultimates out of the Charge first.
Once we see some crazy picks, that's going to be a halt and looking for that self-destruct. Good little bubble absorb there. We'll keep Bernard safe and get him some energy, and Architect manages to get on top of Rio. Krong just not arriving fast enough. Rally's going to roll to try to keep everybody else alive. Sun comes in. Immortality Field around the corner very nicely plays, so they don't manage to find the kills. That being said, the Pulse Bomb comes in finally on the back end. That's going to interrupt the rest of the rally from Mondu. And Shy manages to find Kariv with the Dragon Strike crashing in. They're now onto the point and breaking them off. This is going to prove to be a very difficult situation. Rio does not swap over to the Wrecking Ball, which I'm sure he wished that he did in this moment. He comes back in, dies, and it seems like this very well is just going to be the closeout here with a very healthy time bank still. Hangzhou Spark, and will cap B with 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining.
That's impressive. Hangzhou Spark looks like they might not have had all the ultimates there, but everything still ends up connecting. Maybe out of order, they grab in first, forcing Immortality Field. It's a massive grab, by the way. Catches pretty much the entirety of the charge. Once the Immortality Field is gone, the Pulse Bomb still managed to get a kill. Shy still has a Dragon Strike in time, still does get a kill on that as well, and Spark just slowly but surely find the frags required, and Charge don't get the trades, they don't get the counter picks. If they had any number of consistent counter picks in there, and this goes to more like a 4v4, some sort of 3v4, 3v3 situation, Charge can grind out the defender's spawn advantage, and Charge can keep holding. Maybe they have to give up a tick, maybe they give up 2 ticks. But here, Spark find one singular map-winning, potentially, or at least here, fight-winning, cap-winning kind of grab. And off the back of that ultimate, it's good. Now they have a 2-minute 50 time bank, which for Volskaya, pretty decent. It's considering a team that hasn't snowballed from A to B and hasn't gone for a double cap, so you're not seeing like a 4-minute time bank. This is one of the better time banks you can get for a team that had to really make, multiple attempts at B.
Oh yeah, I mean, for the number of attempts that they had to put in to get that, not too bad at all. Finish with 250. I think that you're going to walk away and feel pretty comfortable. We'll see, though, if they can have a similar closeout on the side of the Charge. A strong attack and try to match your best of time bank, take us into extra innings. Hangzhou obviously wants to try to avoid that. Just close this out with a full hold on A, assert their dominance, and finally best the Charge on this very map.
Look at this as well. It's, Charge back onto the Orisa composition. So I think what we're getting out of this is that Charge really do favor this specific composition. They're not going to change for any circumstances. You've seen 2 full sub-maps of Ilios playing this exact same thing now, both attack and defense on Volskaya as well. Waiting for Choice F1 to get the initial wraparound, and then let's see how Rio and the rest of the squad wants to move through, because it will be slow innings. They have to gain inch by inch in terms of area control.
Just inching their way forward. Just going to be waiting for that next barrier placement to come in. Bubble goes out. Guchui this time not making the mistake of landing near them. Just goes flipping by. There's Arlene. Wary about this backline access. Trying to keep his eyes out for Architect. Shots start coming through. I think they've identified his position. Just landing these shots. Proven to be pretty difficult thus far. But R builds up a decent amount of energy, though. And they now have to be very fearful of this Zarya. The Mortality Field is going to be killed off. Ant Matrix is down, but they start turning around. They're facing the other way. They finally focus back forward. That's going to be Bernard. Cold is now Mika gone. Pulse Bomb is decent from Architect to find Eileen, but that's the only kill that he will get. To Krong's mech, a little bit low, but for the most part, he's going to be all right. They get the cleanup. It's going to be an extended team kill, and the cap will come through. So another solid start here for the side of the Charge. See if they can get it done, if they can snowball this together.
I mean, Burner was doing so much damage that he was on 99 to 100 energy on the Zarya, but just needed to have a little bit more time and space bought. Goutre dies and doesn't quite have the mines, and mines there would have been so good to really just drop on top of the entire bunker. Charge, they don't take that long to get to the point. One of the weaknesses of these Orisa attacks is that it's hard to rotate. In fact, they know that, so they got to pile onto this little platform. It's going to take them directly to the side, and already they've just been delivered onto the side, this left side flank of B.
Well, still some decent ultimates available. The minefield to buy some space, as well as the Dragon Strike to try to cut off the enemy team. Guchui situated here on the high ground, pushing some damage out into Rio. Now comes sliding through, and it's going to be mines over towards the entryway. Rio's kind of been cut off here, separated from the rest of his squad, tries to throw down that shield to get bunkered in against the wall. Won't manage to make it happen, but the Dragon Strike is going to further delay any reinforcements to come through. Krong stun up, taken out of the mech. The self-destruct going to be committed to the fight. He wants to get straight back into this because he knows that Bernard is about to have a grab online. Pulse Bomb will find Rio, though, so maybe it's best to just wait and try to go for a reset here. Onto, however, taking quite a bit of damage. Crit falling low, still uses the Immortality Field, so they're still trying to escape from this position, but it just seems like they're so completely pinned. Yeah, they don't have Rio, and he's not going to be able to get back to them easily. He's still here with the Orisa, so he can't just come crashing in as a Wrecking Ball cause chaos. He's got to slowly just gallop his way through the doors.
And you look at Charge there with the rest of the members alive without Rio, thinking, how do we play the situation? They have, by the way, the option of jumping off the map because they're on that sort of left side from attacker's POV. If they want to reset, just yeet yourself off the map, get back with Rio, maybe do this platform play again. I think that they are going to go for the platform play again. They have to be careful, though, because last time they did this, Goutre cut them off as the ball swung through, dropped the mines, doesn't have the mines this time, but isolates Rio. That's what really ruined the Charge's attack, because Rio, by himself, not with the team, your bunker doesn't exist if your main tank is not with the team.
Yeah, I mean, Krong was the only one that could try to get to him, and the Dragon Strike just cut off everybody else. Another Ant Matrix comes down. Eileen tries to get the flashbang there onto Guchui. Can't make it happen. Good bubble timing from Bernard. Keeps the Wrecking Ball protected. Grab comes in. It's going to find both of the tanks, and Shy in the meantime gets a nice headshot on the Choice A1. He'll finish off the Immortality Field as the Dragon Strike goes rolling through. Not going to find too much damage, but it's still going to be nice time bought, and this is going to guarantee a nice lead here for the side of the Spark. If not just the full hold on point B. Not full hold, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it'll be the B hold indeed. And you also see, by the way, that Shy is just getting almost one Dragon Strike per fight now. Already 48% towards his next one. So it's quite a lot of damage coming through. And it's kind of a combo with Bernard. It was a little bit late, but they got the kills onto Rio and Krong regardless. And now you're staring down 2 minutes 35. And Charge absolutely cannot match the time of Spark now as far as time bank goes. But can they get anything else done? We've had a bit of a slowdown on the next round of ultimates coming on through. Ideally, Karib would get another window. He's had an Ant Matrix for most fights, and that is usually the opening tool for the Charge. They want to bunker up, drop the window down, and that's how they can take positioning.
Well, back on the attack. They make their way forward. First barrier going to fall. Architect lurking, ready to drop in from above, try to assassinate a target. Sees Rio falling low. The Fortify going to be used. We'll top him back up, but I mean, this Discord Orb focus is consistently flying out onto the Sarissa.
Shy's going to get a Dragon Strike again, so this will be literally 1 strike per fight so far. Shy, though, I mean, not just Shy, but Architect's Pulse Bomb has also kind of ruined the day for the Guangzhou Charge. Has collected kills into Rio before. Trying to capture and touch now.
Oh, okay. Trese1, he does manage to get that kill. So Shy going to be gone. Start posturing forward now onto the point. Architect taking a bit of damage as the Deadeye is going to be coming out. D-Matrix is trying to keep protected. Architect going to die. Only the Immortality Field found for the Pulse Bomb. Dragon Strike now going to be coming through. And Eileen, I mean, I couldn't even see him, but he's just clicking heads all the same. Dragon Strike be damned. This guy's got infrared vision. Spots out Bernard, finishes him off. Gushue barely staying alive, even with that Transcendence healing. It's not going to be enough. He doesn't stay close enough to get topped up, and the cap will finally come in. He's not nearly as strong. Less than half of the time bank established there furthest out of the Spark, so 250 to a minute and 9.
I mean, we're all here playing the Overwatch League, but I think we got Eileen playing the Call of Duty League here because he's got himself a thermoscope on top of that Peacekeeper. So, unbelievable headshot onto Burner as well. But that initial kill onto Shy, I think, was the one that got them over the line because you do see a Choice 1 Pulse Bomb. And, that headshot from Shy in this replay. This is what we're talking about. Shy is definitely more than woken up now. I mean, I haven't been able to check because I haven't seen his player cam in a while, but if that doesn't wake you up in the morning, I don't know what will. It will still be a 109 time back. Not as flashy, not as pretty, and good looking as at 250, but it's workable. And for Guangzhou Charge, I think because we're realistically only going to be playing for the A point anyway, and they had a really convincing A point, Rio going back over towards the Orisa, if they can manage to make their way onto the point with minimal obstruction, minimal interruption coming through from the Hangzhou Spark, which is actually a bit of a mistake from the Spark, I think. They didn't really intercept or try and slow down or force a fight mid-rotation from the Charge. If Charge just get onto the point and Kareev drops a window, A is kind of done. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Extra innings now. Guangzhou first on the attack. Just over a minute to try to make this happen. I feel like TP forward. Just over to the side. Eluding any potential stray headshots that Shy could be throwing at them. As well as Coldest, I suppose, charging up those right clicks.
A lot of this is going to, for me, come down to Architect, actually, because if he gets another really fast Pulse Bomb, when Guangzhou Charge want to bunker up, that's when a Pulse Bomb can find an easy target. If they can get it picked that way, that would be brilliant.
Future playing it safe. Pile drives up top, and oh god, Shy, he's already getting it going. Finds Kareev. Still headshot choice. They want trying to harass him as best as possible. Shot not quite going to connect. A little more to the right. Maybe he would have been able to have it either way. They just have to just sit back.
That's half the time gone.
Yep.
Charge have to reset, they're down to below 30 seconds. Not only that, look at Kareev's ult charge. He's so far behind because he's the one dead. They're not going to get a fast window. So not only did they not get a fast window, but then also Spark might get an ult before Kareev, which would be absolutely amazing for the Spark.
A couple members getting taken down to about half HP. Bernard still going to be hovering around there. Slowly gets topped back up. Protect under some fire. There's the Charge finally set foot here on the point. Bubbles out of the Gushue, goes in with a pile driver, gets that slight little knock-up. They're looking for Shy, but they cannot finish him off. That, however, flashbang from Eileen gets the killing blow onto Bernard. Gushue taken low. Everybody's zoned back, so 2 ticks at least going to be picked up here for the side of the Charge. Do they get the full cap? Somebody's going to have to contest here pretty soon.
There's no tanks.
Gushue now going to fall. Dragon Strike comes through, but it's not going to find anything. Everybody just splits away from it. Now Shy's going to be gone. Mika eliminated. Architect tries to go in. Recall already going to be burned. The whip shot will finish him off, and it's 30 seconds added back to the clock now. Not too much to try to snowball this with, but the rally and pulse bomb might just be enough for an extended fight.
I mean, I don't even know that they need to go to get it take care. Charge would love any sort of bonus distance. Anything they get on B is going to be a bonus because getting A is the prime target. Because they've got an A, the defense for the time back should be pretty solid now. Spark can hold this. They have Transcendence, they have more ults coming online, Minefield as well. Charge would have to play this excellently and maybe find another window to actually get a cap here.
All right, well, they force out the OT. Choice they want. Now going to be scouted. Strong devours Architect's Pulse Bomb. That's going to be a huge opening. It's Choice wants still on the hunt. Hasn't yet selected his target. Shy's going to be picked off, but Eileen will die before he can get a Deadeye rolling. OT starting to bleed away. They touch back onto the point yet again. Choice A1 trying to bide his time, trying to pick his moment very carefully here. Doesn't want to have this Pulse Bomb get eaten. He sees Coldest now. Rally armor rolling, keeping him topped up. Bolt support's going to be gone for the side of the charge. It seems like maybe it's going to be a Far Cry dream to get that single tick on point B. As everybody else will continue to fall down. The Pulse Bomb got nothing. The Deadeye will just go ahead, bleed away as we get ready to go into the next half. But it's a solid play here for the side of the charge, given that they had just 1 minute and 9 seconds. And, I mean, if they give up point A, we very well could be looking at a draw as well.
You said they have 1 minute and 9 seconds, but really they had 20 seconds because they lost Kariv straight away in that first fight. By the time they actually made a move, they might as well have had only 20 to 25 seconds. And within that time, with Kariv starting on something like 35% ult charge, if you looked at a specific ult charge rate, he instantly got that window in record time. I did not expect that. I didn't know his healing was going to be that good. I mean, it is AoE, and you are taking a bit of a peppering of damage from the Hangzhou Spark, but it's not like Hangzhou are playing the fire here, so you're not just getting splashed from above. And still, bunker up on the point. Window gets dropped down. That's the win condition, and it is so hard for the Hangzhou Spark to actually challenge that setup when they do not have ultimates. You saw that Shy was maybe just a couple percentage points off. He was very close to that Dragon Strike, and if he had it just slightly earlier, and this is even with the kill to Kariv, that's why it's so very impressive that Kariv gets this, but also the fact that Spark are always just slightly off in terms of the damage to just get that ultimate to do something about it. It was maybe looking at Architect as well. Pulse Bomb can really stop that, but if you don't have the tools, Kariv's window, that Amp Matrix from Charge, once that happens on A, the A cap might just be gone.
Well, moving forward, Shy, I mean, that initial headshot to open things up last time, the Charge cannot afford to have that happen again. They need to play around his sightlines very intelligently. Right now, everybody going to be tucked away inside the garage, aside from Gushue and Architect, to go on a bit of a flanking mission. Scouting arrow, finding quite a few targets. That first shot, narrowly avoiding Eileen. They'll get a couple extra into him, but he manages to survive, at least for now. Recall going to be forced out. Gushue getting stunned up. Coldest eliminated. Good flashbang. They're able to pump some extra damage into Benar, but Architect will take out Eileen. Now Mandu going to be falling. Architect manages to find 2. That leaves just Kariv as a solo healer now for the side of the charge, and everybody's still clustered together. Gushue going to be eliminated though, and it seems like the TPS 204, the Spark will die as well. They do get picked off. I'd love to get Bernard demech to force him to jump off the map. That's not quite going to happen, but 1 minute and 45 seconds now remaining. Guangzhou Charge, it's a very solid start for them as the rest of the team rejoins.
Absolutely. I mean, look, Mandu dies, but Kariv living there, A, means he's going to have an Matrix now, but also he may be a solo healer, but Spark had no healer because Mika and Coldest both died. Here we go. Let's see what this window can do for them.
Yeah, Matrix is keeping everybody contained. They can't advance forward through it, so they have to just respect it. Stun comes in. I think he actually might have lost that Pulse Bomb. Architect responds with one of his own. Doesn't manage to find anything. Dragon Strike goes out. Just gets a little bit of damage dealt, but overall, not too much. Choice A1 with no recall down to 4 HP, desperately crying out for some heals. He does receive it. Spark out-rotating them just a bit. They manage to get the inside tracked over onto the point. The first tick is getting ready to come through. The Charge now have to try to re-aggress and retake this. Multiple ultimates to work with, but can they utilize them properly? We're about to find out right now. Self-destruct going to be thrown into the back by Bernard. He looks for a pick. He managed to find Eileen as well as the Supercharger, and then Rio goes down off the back end of that. Kariv dead to the mines. Mandu with a rally rolling. Now is going to be wishing that he held onto it to try to force a draw, because the Spark are going to be capping point B. They are going to be getting 30 more seconds added to this time bank, and the Charge now, if they don't want this to get tied up 1-1, need to play this out and deny a tick away.
There is a high possibility of a draw. I do have to say that, but the reason and the way that Spark can actually maybe get past this is they have a Dragon Strike nearly online, Transcendence as well. They can survive up against Sand Matrix. In fact, they probably should. When Kariv drops this down, and he's going to probably wait until he really has to, when Spark want to commit, because you don't want to drop it too early like he did on towards A, that's when Trance and Dragon Strike need to come on through, and you need to play him towards the Sand Matrix to make sure Kariv doesn't get value.
Okay, he throws the Dragon Strike over towards left spawn door. Deadeye gets the cancel there from Eileen. Not looking to stay in a precarious spot. 20 seconds about to be remaining on the clock.
They're going to wet it out.
Yeah, Choice A1. Pulse Bomb needs to be big from him if they want to pull this off. Gushue, however, under fire. He barely manages to roll out, grabs both mega packs to stay alive. Self-destruct into the back from Krong, not going to find a pick, but it will force the Transcendence out. Choi Se-Wan, he finds the most crucial target that he possibly could. It's Shy, eliminated at the ultimate. Eileen going to be jumped on, however. Coldest will find the headshot kill. OT going to be forced out. Spark still very well have a fighting chance in this right now. Coldest comes up with yet another one. Mondu going to be eliminated. Karif under fire. Gushue dives in. Rio discorded out. He will be eliminated. Choi Se-Wan has finally gotten rid of the Zenyatta, but now the rally armor is getting pushed out from Mika to try to give them some staying power here on point B. Rio going to go down. Krong going to be demeched. And it seems like the Spark might just be able to clutch this out from the jaws of a draw at the very end. They will manage to make it happen with the OT. And Hangzhou Spark will tie up this series 1-1. If you're the Guangzhou Charge, that is it. You cannot give them any more map wins.
That's the last one. This is going to go to at least 4 maps regardless. Now it is kind of do or die for the Guangzhou Charge. This season quite literally is going to rest upon their next 2 maps, and maybe even just the next map. If Spark takes it, it's done. There's no more scorelines that can save them, and this was a very close map. This was a situation that maybe could have ended in a draw, but I think twice now, once on A especially, you saw that initial window placement from Kariv. Spark just hide away. They don't have to play into that one. They go into the side room, they wait it out, and they come back through. And you see the difference it makes, by the way, when Spark have ultimates and I can actually play into the bunker, it makes a world of difference. Okay, Rio wants to drop a supercharger. The response is burn our self-destructs in, and suddenly Spark are back into the game. There's another window coming down on towards B. Now, there was a lot more patience shown into that one, but still just enough time remaining for the Spark to once again wait it out, do not play into it, and then actually come back through early. If they still had the Dragon Strike, maybe they could just like dive directly into it, but without the Dragon Strike, because Shy used it, they decided to wait, and well, the patience was rewarded. They had the Transcendence, then the rally coming up towards the end, and Spark finished the cap.
Well, no more breathing room available for the side of the Guangzhou Charge. Another map dropped, and whether or not they win this series or not, it doesn't matter. Their season will be over, so need to win out 2 consecutive maps from here to take this with that 3-1 scoreline. We'll see if they can make it happen, or if the Spark can prove to be an upset squad yet again when we come back from the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, we are back, and the Guangzhou Charge have their backs up against the wall right now. One more map loss, and that is going to be their season in, I was going to say in the dumpster, but that's just their season kind of going kaput for them. They still can win this series 3-2, but unfortunately that won't be good enough. Hangzhou Spark taking Volskaya is just about the worst thing that could have happened here for the Guangzhou Charge. Now they need to win 2 straight maps to be able to make it into this next cup. And then potentially have a run through the play-in. So pressure is absolutely mounting for them, and it just seems like for the Hangzhou Spark, despite his webcam issues, Shy, he is nothing but, if not awake right now. The guy is absolutely popping.
Yeah, it's a sleeper pick with woke gameplayers. I think what we're seeing there is still really pumping out tons of damage. I think on that defense for B as well, was getting something like 1 Dragon Strike per fight. Even some of the fights were slower to start, so we'll give him that in terms of a bit of a caveat. But otherwise, I mean, the ultimates were coming on very consistently. Have to say, it was a good roll through on the attack to get B, because it was nearly a draw. That could have been a draw. Very close to being a draw. But they played patiently when they needed to, and they were able to get ultimates and strike when they needed to as well to make sure they could get that cap. If it was a draw, I think Guangzhou would be breathing a bit of a sigh of relief. I mean, you say it's the worst thing that could have happened. It's the second worst thing, because the worst thing would then be if they lose another map, and there still be a couple more opportunities coming up. I think it's Numbani, Rialto that we still have available, and honestly, okay Orisa maps. They've got to be okay Orisa maps, and that just seems like what Charge want to be using today. That seems like that's their key strategy, their core strategy, and the one that they believe gives them the best chance of winning. Certainly that was true for Ilios and mostly true for Volskaya. But when Spark have ultimates, and when they're not behind in pacing and they're just losing to a bunker setup with a window behind it, they can be very active. They can definitely get on top of the Charge, and they can find some very very important picks, especially coming through from Shy.
Yeah, it seems like they really want to keep Rio on this Orisa pick, and I think for the most part he has looked the most steady with this one compared to like the Wrecking Ball, which is obviously the other big main tank pick that we're seeing right now in the current meta. But that being said, he played it yesterday, and he played the Wrecking Ball quite well. We didn't see a lot of the flaws that he was having in past weeks, where sometimes he would go in and it just kind of looked like he was inted because the enemy team would just all focus fire him, and he just wasn't the best at getting out of those sticky situations. But yesterday, I thought he played it perfectly fine. I forget which map it was on Control when we saw it, whether it was Oasis or Nepal. But yeah, it seems like they very much just kind of wanted to keep him in with the Orisa. There's just been some rotational issues as far as the team getting separated from each other. Once Rio gets isolated, everybody from the Spark just, they just go and they pick on him. They know that he is then now, in that moment, a very easy target. They have things like the Dragon Strike to just make sure that nobody can come into his rescue. They get that back line, that front line rather, diving in on top of him, and they just give him one hell of a rough go of it. So we'll see how they fare now, as it looks like Bernard is going to be going for a scouting hook in case there's a Sombra amongst them. But Choi Se-wan, he's taken to the skies this time, busting out the Pharah.
We had an interesting stat line there as well, which is to say that both of the previous meetings have been won by the Spark, so if they win this meeting again, it will be 3 out of 3. So in terms of the Hangzhou-Guangzhou rivalry, it would be fairly dominated by the Hangzhou Spark, and I mean, has been so far, considering that Hangzhou has been the more consistent team and Charge have had their struggles. But once again, it will be the Orisa defense here. As far as yesterday's match versus the Valiant, I mean, the only asterisk I have to add in there is it was still versus the Valiant, where, every team has looked good against, so I don't believe Rio was sufficiently punished by the Valiant, and here, up against much stronger competition, you are seeing that potentially cracks can fall.
Yep. Well, they'll spot Gushui just rotating through the back. Gives a little bit of a scouting report here for them. As Choi Se-wan for now is like, yeah, I can just stay grounded, maintain my fuel levels. Starts hovering here as they look to push forward. Got a little bit of damage in onto Coldest. Not nearly enough to come up with an elimination, however. Immortality Field forced early.
That's reasonable.
Putting that major cooldown in. Oh, Shy, that was almost back-to-back direct hits, but Choi Se-wan will get a third one woven in the end. Flashbang not quite going to connect as Architect slinks his way around the backside of the point. The rest of the team starting to just continue to poke and prod out as best as they can, but realistically, they need to wait for Shy. He's their barrier break.
Yeah. Very opportunistic kills from Shy there. I think it was a direct rocket into then Krong flying at him. Not too sure where Burner and Mika were in terms of healing and peel, so that will force the Hangzhou Spark to move away now. And at that point as well, the perfect time for Spark to strike is when the Immortality Field isn't available. Kareev should have it again. Once more, Kareev is going to find this window. The barrage will be there available as well in just a hot minute, and Spark don't quite have ultimates to work with.
They do not, but they're drawing them over to the point right now. First tick's going to be given up for free as the drop down starts to come through. Krong, initial one to try to touch. Dragon Strike just to really, shove them off this high ground. Kriv, however, now under fire. Uses the Immortality Field to keep himself alive. He's got a decent bit of pocket healing, but Shy!
What?
Just kind of strafing those arrows right across. Manages to find the headshot. Rio goes down, now Kriv is falling. Mirage is online for Choice A1, but good luck finding an opportunity. He's going to pull the trigger on it right here, right now, but Shy will just go ahead, chunk him down. Another little headshot there on the arrow. Mondu just buying, some stray seconds, but I'm expecting that we're going to see Choice swap now. Yeah, Tracer will be coming in, and it's 4 minutes and 12 seconds currently in the time bank for the Spark on this push.
I think the reason why Choi was even on the fire in the first place is maybe they were expecting that Hangzhou Spark were also going to be playing fire on the attack, and Numbani A specifically has been a pretty far friendly map. So that's kind of the read coming through from the charge, but honestly, Choi's Tracer versus the composition of Hangzhou Spark is a lot more effective because you have that backline pressure. You need to be on top of Shy, you need to be on top of Coldest, and you need somebody that can really chase down Guangzhou when he's low as well. So Tracer does all of that and more, and then also Brigida for Mandu can actually try and peel off Architect and Guangzhou when they dive in.
Yeah, well, Architect, speaking of which, looking to get himself into the back line. Pulse bomb rather at the ready. Self-destruct goes out, so an opportunity to potentially throw the Pulse. Just holds on to it, sees that they're just getting some free space and wants to use this once recontest comes in. Dragon Strike comes in on the flank. Immortality Field forced out, but Shy's still going to find the hit. Kriv goes down, and the Charge are just kind of getting out-rotated right now. They're getting shoved into positions that they don't want to be in, and Spark just continue to punish them time and time again. Nice little headshot there on the break out of the mech to finish the deal, and that is just going to be point B snatched up.
Shy is just unbelievable. I mean, the only other time I've seen Hangzhou gameplay that was this good was when Eileen pulled it out against the Chengdu Hunters, and since then it's been pretty seldom because he's on McCree. He hasn't been off the McCree, and to be fair, McCree's a good pick. Anyone out wondering why is Eileen not playing the Hangzhou? Well, you'd only be playing the Hangzhou if Orisa was also being played by the Hangzhou Spark, and it was a mirror because Hangzhou plays well versus Orisa in terms of shield break, but Eileen wants some of this anti-dive pressure by using the flashbang onto Architect, onto Guangzhou, and that's why he's on the McCree here. But we're on the final point now, and here comes an aggressive window.
Well, nice little stick. Will finish off Coldest. And window, to try to just force everybody else back. They will shove them off the cart. A little bit of stability found now for the side of the Charge, but still big time bank to chew through. Nice little stagger pick there onto Architect, though, will buy them a little bit of extra time and respite.
And here is an opportunity as well where Shy doesn't have the Dragon Strike. And that being said, that was the first, and I go back to A fight for this, the first time I've really seen Shy counter out in that Matrix from Kriv with the Dragon Strike. Otherwise, Shy pretty much has been using Dragon Strikes in a bit more of a tempo fashion. I suppose when you're getting Dragon Strikes once almost every other fight, you can be quite, relaxed with how you want to be going about it. I'm sure he's trying to make something happen to the backline. He might have been spotted, not too sure.
Okay, Pulse just going to be greeted with the Immortality Field. Card starting to advance again as two members get sent to the high ground and try to deal with Architect. I think even a third kind of jumping up there. Either way, this gives Eileen a nice little angle. Flashbang. Shield Bash, I think it actually did connect. They don't manage to get into position to find that headshot, though, to get the full punish. So, lives to fight yet another day. Minefield going to be dropped in. Dragon Strike as well from Shy. Does get used. Not finding any kills, but again, this is potentially the Charge getting shoved off of the point away from their spawn. They have to try to push back out through this hallway. See if they can do it. Eileen finding Bernard's mech is going to be a solid enough start, I think. Cold is still under some fire, doesn't yet have that Transcendence online. If they can get the kill, that would be huge. The rally armor is very much helping to keep them alive, and Shy's got this great crossfire angle right now to continue to pressure them. Eileen uses that Deadeye, doesn't manage to find too much, and Bernard's just going to be nomming up Choice A1's Pulse Bomb. Architect's going to be picked off. Coldest and Mika both going to fall, so no supports, no Tracer in the fight. And the Guangzhou Charge should be able to continue to hold out.
That was such a difficult fight. I mean, the Charge used 6 ultimates. Literally, all 6 ultimates have been expended for that fight, and they barely made it on towards the payload. You can see that Eileen was, trying to look over from the high ground there. Couldn't quite land shots on Coldest. If I was looking correctly, Amanda was out there rallying also with Eileen to potentially get their way onto the payload. Mines came out from Guangzhou, which added complexity to Charge's retake. They were caught up in a small room. That's not where Charge want to be. Ideally, Charge with a bit more of an open space. They have their backs against their own spawn. That would be ideal in terms of positioning. Yeah. Now the ult advantage heavily is in the favor of Spark.
Architect into the back. Pulse again online. We'll see if he can find anything with it this time around. Dragon Strike has been built up yet again by Shy, and what seems like record time. And yet with that final kill, that is going to be the Dragon Strike ready to roll. Jumping up over top of it is Karib, trying to keep himself safe. Immortality Field gets thrown out immediately as he lands. And now, again, we play Ring Around the Rosie, shifting position. Self-destruct, however, is going to find Eileen because Immortality Field, it's no longer there. Mondu getting jumped on, starting to fall a bit low. Both supports under heavy fire on the side of the Guangzhou Charge. And while they try to keep themselves topped up, the tank line is the thing that suffers. Karib discorded, finished off by Mika with the whip shot. Now Mondu dead. Tanks and supports now waiting to respawn. 50 seconds remaining, and Choi Se-won's Pulse, he doesn't find a kill. Something that they very desperately needed. Rio is just now starting to swap over onto the Wrecking Ball. They get a touch, but then they barely break away from it for just a moment. Seems like maybe a whip shot sent Rio far enough off for them to get that push through. They will finish the map, but crucially, it's under a minute, so there's a very real possibility here for the Charge to actually get a bump up on time if they can have a strong attack.
It could have just been because Rio was still respawning as well, that just the time wasn't there. I mean, we saw Choi Se-won's POV specifically. He was on the side room with a Mega in a bit of a 1v1 duel, too low anyway, too far away from the payload to initiate the touch. So it had to be Rio. Rio was pretty much the only one that could do it and the next designated player to go for it, but either he got booped away or just ran out of time. Could
Doesn't
Kwong
matter
go
either way.
possibly? I think Rio's still ideal, but yeah, you're not wrong. Krong maybe could have been there. I'm not too sure where Krong specifically was standing, but from Choi Se-won's POV, it's just too hard to tell who could have done it, who would have done it. It's all, unfortunately, in the past now. And for Spark, look at it with 43 seconds remaining. And, I mean, Charge had some reasonable fights in there. Did enjoy what I was seeing in terms of, okay, they swapped sides, they saw that Spark were going for this massive wraparound play coast from the coast, and then Charge decide they're going to go towards the attacker's spawn, and then you have this kind of weird fight where the window comes down from the attacker's spawn side. But this is what I'm talking about is, when you get later into the game and more ultimates are available, and when Spark have inventory as well, and they have the ultimate advantage, when these windows come down, which would otherwise be almost automatic wins for the Charge, especially in the neutrals, Bernard just throws out a self-destruct, instantly kills Eileen, and Charge have to disengage, or there's a Dragon Strike there, or Architect throws down a Pulse Bomb. So many good tools for them to play around this window, or, you know, if it's a different situation, perhaps they could wait it out. But the neutral is where Charge have been winning, where they've been most successful. So there's one area for Charge to find success, it is literally right now in this fight.
Let's see how they fare. Just a little bit of damage coming out from Choi Se-won to start things off. Just kind of farming a third of a Pulse Bomb off of Gushue. Shy just looking to catch them off this right flank. Shooting the arrows in underneath of this banner. Gushue tries to go crashing through, gets met with a whip shot, sending him back down to the low ground. Bunker basically set up, and you can see, I mean, the Spark so desperately want to displace them. But everybody that continue to hit are people who can very easily get back up onto that high ground. Gushue is going to be taken out now. Bernard going to be DMAC'd on the backside of that point. And we'll finish off the Baby Diva, and that should be a very nice start here for the side of the Guangzhou Charge. They have to get set up, though. Make their way here onto the low ground. Pulp not going to manage to find anybody, pull them back out into the light.
Spark need to force this window.
Getting caught. They're going to try their damnedest to do so. See if they can pull it off. The cap is just going to come through. Okay. Gushue just taking too much damage. Can't really commit in onto it. And now it's going to be some good staggers potentially here on the back end of the fight to just give that much more distance gain to this card as it gets ready to roll.
The problem with this now is that Charge have the capability to snowball through B. I think would have been, you know, the correct move for Spark to, even if they were going to lose A, and it's more than likely they do just because the ult advantage generated from Charge in the neutral, they need to force that window out, and I guarantee you Karib would have used it if there is any sense of resistance from the Spark at all, and they really challenge for that final tick on towards A. Karib pops the window, and then whether Spark will lose or not doesn't matter because they force ultimates. So that would have been the play, but they couldn't quite touch. Like you said, Gushue is too low. And now let's see what Charge want to do with this initial snowball on through because they have a lot to work with. That's Choi down though. I think he was on a flank like you mentioned.
Yeah, he was well into the back line, trying to sneak around, get behind them up on its high ground, but didn't really manage to make that happen. And Architect, thinking about diving in, decides to pull back, uses the recall. Dragon Strike not going to find too much, but Karib, oh man, rude awakening, a rude greeting rather, as they just push straight out the doorway. Shield bash and eliminate him. Choi Se-won back into the fray, does manage to find Shy. Krong going to be letting the self-destruct go. Throws it indoors, doesn't manage to find too much, but Choi Se-won with his own pulse Gets Mika. That's a very good look here for Chusewan. Minefield will finish off Krong's mech. I mean, he can jump off the side and reset or just try to pistol his way back in. Seems like the latter option is going to be his choice. Still an opportunity for a recontest here. Should they want to go for it? Gushway's starting to roll forward.
Looks like a cap to me. I mean,
yeah, okay.
You say recontest, but I think Gushway's just a little bit too far away. So now that will be, unfortunately, kind of 2 points given up. Rio just going back over towards the arrest, a little bit more of a safer pick. There's still ultimates online for Spark, though, so we're looking at a defendable position. They were able to counteract and, move away from that Ant Matrix once again. You get the Dragon Strike from Shy, but the Supercharger being available the entire time. Choi then finding a Pulse Bomb. It's more than enough. And also Krong has spotted out extra members from Spark on the high ground here, so just making sure that Spark don't immediately drop on top of them.
Well, the corner of doom now is where they need to try to play around. If you can break through here, should have a decent time getting this cap with a significant time bank. This is where so many teams get caught up. Eileen finds Architect, though. Good headshots, eliminates a Tracer, backline that much safer now. Rally rolling, though, from Mika. It's going to make everybody else a significantly tougher target. Dragon Strike. Going to be used, oh, Krong, he noms it up. Completely denies it away. Very nicely done. Now, Deadeye just to escort them out of this room. Zone back the Spark. They get themselves back over onto the card. Rally armor getting ready to expire. Colts got stunned up for just a moment, but no follow-up damage comes through. Gushway manages to find Kariv, however. Just crashes through, gets the elimination. And now the Spark, they want to put pedal to the metal. Transcendence comes through, escorts everybody else back over to the cart. Mondu's going to get caught up in the crossfire. Krong team mech finished off, and that should be control now established here for the Spark.
That is heartbreaking. Krong did so much work that you see the positioning that Eileen was in with the rest of the charge inside that Mega Pack room. I mean, if a Dragon Strike comes through and goes into that room, they are doomed. They have to kind of give up all that space, go up the stairs, or kind of just die. They can't walk away from it. So Krong eating that Dragon Strike away gives Charge the impetus to then move forward, attack the payload again, and potentially set up for a bunker into window play. But Kariv dies. Gushway swings through, and that's a very important kill, getting rid of that BAP. So reset now, bit more of a time wastage, 1 minute gone now, but still an opportunity for Charge to get this bunker place set up.
Oh, super secret mission again there from Choisewan, not going to come up with a profit. Does manage to throw out that pulse bomb, but it does not lead to a kill. Immortality field forced out. Gushway crashing back through, self-destruct used. Krong not finding a pick. Everybody playing on the high ground now. As Mika has another rally and it's rolling through.
Yep.
Rio just gets absolutely decimated. Pulse bomb going a bit wide there from Architect, but again, we just have this ring around the rosy happening around the cart where Charge are just constantly shifting over towards their spawn. They end up back over at the cart, but now Kariv will fall and has to rejoin the fray, and everybody starts pulling back. Now they have to try to re-aggress yet again through this corner. They still have time to do so, so it's not dire straits quite yet. But they want to be able to finish this with over a minute. They want to get that time bank bump up rather than get equalized in a minute.
I mean, it seems like Charge have the capability of opening up nicely. They can get first picks, they can set up ultimate plays. But Spark are able to get these very nice counter trades, and it's so difficult. Shy can just find these final blows. He'll have another Dragon Strike, and I mean, at this point, again, he just has them so often. It's so difficult. Supercharger's down, the Dragon Strike comes through, and it's so hard for Charge to stay into combat.
That keeps them split yet again. Now the self-destruct goes out. Immortality field barely saves Eileen for a moment. I thought he was going to get taken down there. Saw him kind of thrown to the side. Gushway over-aggresses and does get punished for it. So another window, trying to get themselves back into the fight, but they have to be prepared for this upcoming pulse bomb here from Architect. Transcendence opens things. Eileen forces the recall. Halt together. I thought maybe they were going to look for the pulse, but they only find one. And Jai just gets obliterated in a moment. Good rockets from Krong, finding that elimination. Playing forward now, whip shot comes in. Gushway still gets a pretty hefty pile driver, nearly has the minefield ready to go, and Bernard is going to eat Choisewan's pulse bomb up for breakfast. Architect, however, goes down. Gushway as well, going to be joining him in the grave. So very close to pushing this through the immortality field, now going to be finished off. Choisewan, however, eliminated. Shy comes back in with a Doom Fist, and instantly just blows up the Tracer. He's looking for a bit more, goes back in with the punch. This time finds Eileen. The uppercut is good. Mondo gets stuck with the pulse, gets eliminated. And now we're down below a minute here for the side of the Charge. Granted, yes, if they finish even in OT, they will get another minute to go with this, but they have to finish the map.
So Shy can just do it all. It just comes back on a Doom Fist, finds 4 final blows.
Unreal.
It's on like 71% onto the Meteor Strike on like a stall pick. Well, now go back over towards the Hangzhou because that's what he really wants to be playing. But oh my goodness, it looked like Charge were about to cap. You have this miracle kill from Krong onto Shy that eliminates the Hangzhou in the first place, forced the Doom to come through. And Guangzhou Charge, they have everything going for them. Window setup is beautiful. It looks like now Spark aren't able to really do anything against it. But it's just Shy respawns and clutches up so massively. This is final fight territory now.
Yeah, I mean, the self-destruct can buy some space, but the Transcendence is there from Coldest, so he can continue to contest the cart and make sure that it does not get edged into that final goal box. Self-destruct going to get let loose. They throw it into the back. They look for a pick. They don't manage to find anything. Instantly, the Transcendence comes out, but it's not before Bernard gets demeched and Gushway gets eliminated. So there's no tank line to work with here. Propped up on the high ground, Eileen will find two. Both DPS going to fall to the Deadeye. The flashbang in, the headshot connects. And they will finish in OT. Yet again, it's going to be an advantage over to the side of the Spark. This time just 43 seconds for them as we get ready to go into extra innings again.
Yeah, no one marked Eileen there. I mean, he was behind the bushes in towards the tree on the high ground, and for Spark, they had no idea what Eileen was setting. A perfect opportunity to throw in a Jedi when there's no tank. Skewstray cannot be there to disrupt. Bernard cannot be there to defense matrix, eat the damage away as well. So that was going to be Eileen and Charge finally finding the victory path to get across the line on towards C. And man, that was rough because they could have had time available in the time bank. But again, that second to last fight for Shy Commander Doomfist, what an impressive display from someone that is clearly, to me, a front runner in the Rookie of the Year race next to somebody like Pelican, and still trying to make a case for it. I mean, there's a real shot here where, look, this might be Spark's last game of the entire regular season, and it's unclear whether we see them in play-ins or not because they're not in the Countdown Cup. But if Charge and or NYXL do not pick up enough points, Spark are in the play-ins for sure. They just managed to squeeze by, and there's still an opportunity for Shy to keep playing, to show more of this, and for the potential of Hangzhou Spark to make a bit of a comeback in the play-ins, because I think this team has mad potential, and I wouldn't be surprised now in this 143 advantage that Spark can definitely do it. But however, we have talked about Charge being good in these neutrals, and when there's not a lot of time to play through, even 1 minute versus 143, Charge can still take this map.
Yep. Well, no one looking to do anything too crazy here. Just going to be the same comps. Because they want trying to harass. Already gets forced to use the recall. Well, at least I thought he did. Oh, he grabbed the Mega Pack is what it was. All right. Keeps himself safe. Krong. Ooh, hard focus fire coming through onto the tank line. Get the halt. They pull Coldest and Bernard back up onto the high ground. We get the elimination onto the enemies. Zenyatta now Bernard going to be gone. Like you said, these neutral fights looking damn good for them. Gushway does escape, but Mika now going to be eliminated, so it's just going to be a disconnect here between the two supports as Coldest tries to get himself back up at the point, but that single target healing with the Orb of Harmony likely not going to prove to be enough. Desperately needs Mika to rejoin the fight, but the cap is already coming through. They'll actually get it before the OT even ticks in, but now they have to stay glued to this card. Gushway's been so good at displacing the members of Charge. We'll have to see if they can in fact stay stuck to it.
Taking a lot of damage though, and Gushway is madly out of position. I think he's actually behind the Charge.
He's back towards their spawn.
Like yeah, so he's really far away right now. He can have an opportunity to make this dive in. He's going to need to, but this is where the neutral gets even better for Guangzhou Charge. As we head into the second fight, Kareev has this app matrix again, and that's been so hard for the Hangzhou Spark to deal with when they do not have ults themselves. Shy might get this Dragon Strike. He needs to hit a couple more shots, and then they can actually play against this.
And Matrix is ready. Pulse Bomb nearly there for both of these Tracers. The Transcendence quite far away given the initial pick.
Just traveling with the escorted payload.
Yep, just keep it placed right there. Moving along. They buy themselves some extra space and get ready to round the final corner. Pulse Bomb from Architect, however, manages to find Mondu. The Dragon Strike will take down Rio. Two members now going to be eliminated, and they have to stay in onto this cart, but you can see they are just having a very tough time of it. Krong going to be eliminated, and that should be the finish as the Baby Diva will get eliminated. So just past the bus before the final corner is where it needs to go for the Spark to shut out the hopes of the Guangzhou Charge. That being said, it's only 1 minute and 43 seconds. Guangzhou Charge great in the neutral fights. They very well could hold this at A.
And that's the thing as well, because every single bit of distance on B is all bonus. This is exactly the same as what I said on Volskaya, which is to say that when you have an OT that doesn't have a lot of time involved in, Charge on Volskaya basically only had 20 seconds to cap, and they managed to do that. Here, they have 1 minute to cap, and this was actually a more clean A take than the original one in the regulation time, because here, in the regulation time rather, there was an opportunity for the Spark to maybe engage for a secondary fight, which they ended up not choosing to do. In this OT fight, there was no opportunity. There was far too many members dead. Shy and Arctic were both dead, I think, and Spark had only 4 members alive. So I don't want to take that risk. Every single bit of distance after this A take has already been, you know, really good for the Guangzhou Charge, but I think A is going to be where it really gets decided here. It's going to be another Farah start for Choi Se-hwan. So I don't know if he really wants to be on this, considering he instantly swapped off afterwards, being that the Tracer plays so much better into what Spark are running. But the other problem here is if you don't start on the Farah, and Spark then do start on the Farah, you don't have as clean of an option to kind of deal with that potential. So safer to start on the Farah than not. It will come down now to if Charge can get these first ultimates again, because they have been better than neutral, and this could be the fight that decides whether Charge stay in contention for the Countdown Cup or whether the season ends now.
Well, Gushwei shouldn't be shocked to find Rio there with the Sarisa. Just rolls in, rolls out, hasn't been under too much threat, but right now he's threatening the point as he inch forward up Bernard as well. A couple stray rockets flying his way, point contest starting to come through. They'll surrender for just a little bit longer. Spark step back on. Yep, they will get that first tick. They're halfway to the second. Se-hwan just trying to get these rockets in at every opportunity, but sightlines have been very well denied thus far. Eileen getting jumped on. They're falling low. Eileen's going to be eliminated. Now Kariv is dead. Mandu, Discord Orb is out onto him. They can track his position, and it all comes crumbling down. Get strapped in, guys, if you're a Charge fan, because they got one hell of a defense to pull off now. See if they try to go for any swaps or just stick through with what they got, given that the barrage is nearly there, but Rio's going to be swapping over to the Wrecking Ball.
This is the first neutral that Charge have lost in this entire matchup. They've won every single neutral up until this stage. That's wild. So now Spark have quite literally the best start they've ever had versus the Charge in today's matchup in the series, and that means they're going to get the early ultimates. That means Choi and Mandu are going to reset back over to the Tracer and the Brigida, and they do not have much to play with. Kariv doesn't even have a window yet. 10 seconds to go. The OT has been ticked up, but it's about the payload distance now. I don't know if Charge are going to get two fights. This might be a one and done. This next fight could very literally just call it.
Dragon Strike just to try to buy some space. Stops him from taking the shortcut route through to get to the cart. Choi Se-hwan slinking around the back, goes in for the dive, but the pile driver does not connect him. He takes to the skies with a Valkyrie, keeps himself protected. Shy, however, going to go down. Krong finds that kill crucially before the Transcendence can come in. And they look to the Ren, and Krong is there yet again. Strikes down the Mercy. Double pile driver now coming in. They have to continue to play this card. It's just 2.5 meters remaining for the side of the Spark, but maybe that is maybe it's not going to be enough. Maybe they can't make this happen because the kills continue to fly through. Shy now in desperation going to be swapping over to the Reaper. Self-destruct out from Bernard, and he finds 2 picks. Eileen and Rio going to be gone. Krong is going to be desuited. Bernard continues to play forward here on the cart. He's just trying to displace him as best as he possibly can. Choi Se-hwan going to be eliminated. Now Krong, the baby is going to be gone. The immortality field is killed off. Mandu is eliminated. The Spark, they will be able to make it happen. It seems so damn good for the Charge, but it all falls apart in one fell swoop. The Hangzhou Spark will take Numbani. They will take a second map in this series, and that is the last thing that you wanted to hear me say if you are a fan of the Guangzhou Charge.
And right now, if you're the Hangzhou Spark, you're going to revel in the fact that you probably are going to get the extra league point now. Even if the Guangzhou Charge somehow come back into the series, their season is unfortunately done. And the York Excelsior right now are celebrating more, I think, than they've ever celebrated. This is the third time now that they've almost been gifted an opportunity to make it into a tournament knockout, and then subsequently maybe even then into the tournament itself. That was so close to Ilios. It looked like Krong had saved the day. I was ready just to award Krong player of the match right then if I could. I mean, He gets 2 massive kills on like the 2 most important members. Shy, and then onto Mika, who's playing the Mercy. Krong has done so much this game, but it has not been enough. Bernard with the triple kill at the end, saving the day for the Hangzhou Spark and making sure that they were going to take the lead here. And now the Guangzhou Charge, they've still got maps to play here, but this will be the last time that we do see the Guangzhou Charge take the stage in the 2021 season.
Now it's about playing for pride and playing to be the best here in this battle of the average Joes. We'll see if the Guangzhou Charge can run it back and take us into a 5th and final map, or if Hangzhou can just take this 3-1, the scoreline that the Guangzhou Charge so desperately wanted from themselves. We'll find out when we come back for the break. All right, we are back, and unfortunately, it's a little bit of a deflated return. The Guangzhou Charge are now out of contention for moving forward. Their season is going to be coming to an end after the series. Avril, as we have been stating repeatedly since yesterday, Hangzhou Spark, they move up 2-1. Guangzhou needed at minimum a 3-1 victory. They do not find that, but they still have pride to play for, so we'll see if they're going to be able to try to turn this series around.
You know, there's a lot of spoiler to play for here in terms of the fact that, okay, Hangzhou Spark can definitely spoil Charge's opportunity of making it further in either this tournament or then the entire season, generally speaking. But at the same time as well, if Charge actually still win this series, despite not then being able to continue this season, they can deny a point away from the Spark. And at the end of the day, you have New York Excelsior just doing this behind the scenes because they would love that. They would then now love that after Spark have eliminated Guangzhou Charge, but then the Guangzhou Charge would then deny a point to the Hangzhou Spark, which would make it much easier for New York to potentially overtake both teams to get into the play-in. So New York really is the winner of today, no matter who really does win. But the Hangzhou Spark have now kind of denied the Charge, as the best result Charge can get is a 3-2 victory, which would have them come out at a 2-2 record, equal with Excelsior, with a 0 map differential, equal with New York. And at that stage, once you do the tiebreakers, New York have a much stronger strength of schedule tiebreaker because they defeated Dragons and Charge did not, which means New York does win that tiebreaker.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they say when you join a team and you play with them for a while, for an entire season, you're like a family. And it seems like the Guangzhou Charge still think of themselves as family members of the NYXL. So even after all this time, always coming up for them. But we'll see if they can go that extra little mile and win the set in the end to make things even better for the NYXL, or if the Hangzhou Spark just close it out. It seems like they've very much found their groove. Guangzhou Charge, we were talking about this during the break. It just kind of feels like they're being shepherded around the map. Right. They're getting out-rotated by the Hangzhou Spark, so they're just kind of, following like sheep to the sheep hounds that are the Spark. They're just pushing them in every direction that they want them to go in. They find it so difficult to get back onto the objectives, onto the cards, and Hangzhou Spark are just playing this very cleanly.
I think Hangzhou...
not very cleanly, but fairly cleanly.
Well, what it comes down to is once Hangzhou Spark actually have ultimates to play with, they can, again, they have the options to move around and force the Charge away from bunkering up together onto the point. And every self-destruct, every Dragon Strike, every Pulse Bomb available, those are the big three that really do the most damage in terms of, okay, whether it gets a kill or not is irrelevant. What it does is force Charge away from playing to their objective of how they want to be executing their team composition. And it gets pretty rough. So as long as they can play, from a multi-angle approach, and this is, we might see this continue. We probably will see this continue the following maps, assuming that Charge just continue playing Orisa, and I see no reason for Charge to not be playing Orisa now because that just seems like what they've prepped for, what they're practiced on, or what they've had success on. Spark need to have Goucheray on off angles to dive in. They need to have Architect doing very much the same things as well. Hanzo, played by Shy, can be in the front line, just weaving arrows in, and once you kind of disrupt the angles of the Charge, where ideally Charge fight front to back, if they have their backline assaulted and plays are turning around, that's when things get a bit wacky, and that's when Charge will struggle on their composition. So that's kind of what we're seeing when Spark are succeeding. But otherwise, the craziest thing to me about the way that all of this ended on Numbani was that Charge dropped that initial neutral fight on the A defense, and Spark probably gave one of the best examples of what I just spoke about in terms of spreading their members out, assaulting Charge from all sides. Goucheray's even doing a bit of a cap to having cap pressure, and then for the rest of them to knock Eileen off, single out a target, start with Eileen, and then move through the rest to get the kills.
Yeah, I mean, really well done. And, Bernard coming up with that 3K bomb in the end is just something that you cannot afford to happen, especially after the just utter heroics from Krong. It's just a bit of a heartbreaker, and you can't help but feel bad for them, in that moment, especially for Krong, to just do all of that heavy lifting and be like, guys, we got it. We're going to keep going. We're going to move up 2-1. And then just have it all disappear right in front of your
so
very
many
eyes.
ults as well. He's just like...
That too.
Disrupted so much of Spark's game plan. Krong has done so much this game. Honestly, it's incredible. And yesterday as well. And sure, that was versus Valiant, but now, that's that sort of caveat's taken out, and you're playing against the Hangzhou Spark, which has been a more successful team, and as we're looking at it, maybe continues to be more successful over team, being that they're in position to win now. They're on match point. Rialto to play for here. I'll say one thing though. Rialto has traditionally been a very, very strong Orisa map. So look, if Charge can't win here, then they were probably never meant to win the series anyway.
Sure. I mean, yeah, that's at the end of the day, that's realistically the only way you can slice it, is that the best team will win. So, unfortunately for the Charge, even if they close this out, it just shows that they weren't good enough to be able to get it in a 3-1 to take it as cleanly as they needed. Also, it's the only escort map Hangzhou have a win rate on. Well,
which doesn't speak well to Charge's chances here, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, granted, I mean, they had the stats boon when it came down to Volskaya, and that didn't take them. I mean, it took them pretty damn close, but it wasn't enough to get them across the finish line.
That Volskaya will always hurt, because I still feel that in the time bank, Charge actually had it down. The fact that they capped in 20 seconds, they just flubbed their defense, and it all went sour from there. And well, Choice at one dying immediately off the rip, it's already not a great start.
Just stay on it, Shy. Please. Just give us this treat.
He can do whatever. He can do whatever, but they'll want to play the Hangzhou, and if they're going to play Hangzhou, they'll give it to Shy. Arctic will go back over towards the Trace because it makes more sense. Choice 1 starts out onto another Pharah. Again, another A point that's very dominant for Pharah, as Jinmu has shown on Chengdu Hunters many a time. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. I would argue that this is maybe a little bit stronger for Pharah than what we saw in Numbani. So if you're wondering, like, why does Choi want to go back onto this, yeah, I think Rialto's a better map for him.
Well, already a decent amount of position just being given up. They want to play back around the corner. Try to play safe. Just kind of keep the siege coming at them with the arrows and the rockets. Shy pushing forwards, looking for Rio. They take him down about half HP. Krong as well. Suffering a bit of focus fire, but there you go. Speaking of focus fire, they find Shy pulling him back in with the Halt. They get that elimination. Just pushing Guangzhou away, making sure that they can't try to follow up onto Eileen. Good little effort there from Choice A1, takes straight back to the skies, plays back around the corner, and looks to continue to just rain hell down from above.
And speaking of, by the way, because I brought up Jinmu and the Chengdu Hunters here, but they kind of are the masters of really doing this kind of defense with the fire, and also Orisa. You see this little bunker that Rio has built up. We cast a Chengdu game where Gaga did the same thing here, self-isolating the corner, making sure he can really contest, and here it is. Here's the player advantage that Charge really need.
Yep, get that elimination on the Shy, make sure that Mika can't get into a position to try to res him or Coldest back into the frame. And the rest of the kills just continue to follow. Recall out from Architect. Seems like it will take him to safety. The rest of the team is going to have to wait for them to respawn. Shy swaps back to the Widowmaker now.
Which means they have a better capability of shutting down Choice of 1, but the question will still remain, how do you get through Rio? That's actually the key member here. You can take down Choi, unless Shy literally just kills both Choi and then Mandu to follow up and it's a 6v4, okay, then it doesn't matter what Rio is doing. But the bigger problem that I see here is that Rio bunkering up by himself near the payload is just too difficult to take down when you then have Choice of 1 also raining down rockets.
Yep.
And he's just killed Shy.
Yeah, too many targets to try to pay attention to. Architect does manage to find Eileen Barrage. Oh, a bit of an awkward spot though from Choice. He's going to end up finishing himself off. Bernard will get demexed there in the end. The res does manage to come through, so Choice A1 straight back into the skies. But as I say that, he goes into a mine, and he will die, and that should be point A going over as Mondo just drops down. And oh, no, no, no.
Look, the season's over anyway. At this point, it's just a bit of a laugh, bit of fun. That was truly one of the more egregiously bad barrages I've ever seen. Not only was he just in the face of Bernard, but he was actually below Bernard. He wasn't even on the high ground. He didn't use elevation. He was literally below.
Yeah.
So Dragon Strike to maybe save the day. No, it's another 3K from Bernard to seal the deal.
Yep. Choice A1's like, well, guys, I got Shy, but okay, everyone else is dead. So I guess I'll just, try to get out of here. But
I think he's
in a very awkward spot. He'll die. And, yeah, likely going to be seeing a swap over here.
Depends if Mandu. If Mandu can get back to spawn, then they swap. Otherwise, I think he stays. Because they do swap. So Mandu goes back to spawn. Choi goes to Tracer. Saw this coming from a mile away. Yeah, the Pharah leaving a little bit to be desired there. But also, Shy has moved away from the Widowmaker now anyway. So you want to have a little bit more ground presence as we're back to the regular matchup between this kind of Hangzhou ball dive versus this Orisa McCree bunker that Charge have been playing the whole day.
Shy getting himself into a position to try to barrier break here. A little bit of damage in, but eventually the drop down's going to have to come through for the Charge. Guangzhou moves up onto the high ground. Pile driver not going to find too much, but has it mined off, so they can't safely get over to this cart. try to start pushing forward yet again. Architect on the hunt. Oh, nice little tech. Jumps over the wall, but look at that. Eileen is ready for him. Falling right into the spider's web. Eileen gets a very nice little combo.
Straight under the Cowboy's hat. Or boot. Why did I say hat? Boot. I was confused between into the Cowboy's hat and under the boot, but I just kind of did both at the same time. Why not both?
Ah, sure, why not? Just double up on your metaphors.
Just waiting for the next Karib window here as well. There's now this will be Architect's second opportunity to maybe hold the pulse, wait for the window to come on through, then attempt to play into it. Or they can just transcend.
Dive down, pulse bomb lands at Rio's feet, doesn't find the stick, still gets a decent chunk of damage in. Krong gonna fall. Mortality field, focus fired down. First there by Shy, finds the kill, but then gets punished. Choice A1 picks him off, but is that going to be good enough? The cart's still advancing for free right now. Rio trying to play right at the finish line to deny it. Self-destruct going to go up over the top into the back, and Bernard continues to find value. How does he get two? With one of them being Mandu. The shield must have been broken either way. I mean, Bernard is just been having a fantastic turnaround right now. Shifting over onto the D.Va ever since Numbani has just been so damn impactful.
I think Bernard's just, he's tired of all the trash talk that the fans keep giving him. Like, oh, Bernard's not very good, apparently. And he's saying, well, you know, or I could just win the series for my entire team and lock Guangzhou out of the play-ins altogether, which is essentially what's happened now, just multi-frag on the D.Va bomb every single time, or nearly so.
Yeah.
As Pulse Bomb lands.
Okay, Architect gives his life to take down Rio. So, no bunker to get situated behind. And it's still going to be a fairly significant run back for him, or for both of them, rather. But Architect, obviously, with the dashes, can get there sooner. It's already on the way back. Gushue, however,
Mines
dead. Mines do go out. Amp Matrix greets him, and he does die. Krong finds Shy as well. Well, maybe just in front of point B is going to be the resting place for this card. Choice A1 playing forward. Pulse Bomb at the ready. Doesn't want to dive in. Knows it's too risky, and very well could lose that ult to the D-Matrix. Eileen, however, fallen. As Coldest finds yet another pickoff. Nearly has a Transcendence available. Really is going to need that to try to play forward here on the cart. They're trying to force it out right now. Self-destruct up over the top from Krong. Not going to be able to find anything. Choice A1 falls low, down to 10 HP. Gets some healing, but Mandu, everybody collapses upon him. They find that elimination. The Deadeye from Eileen not going to offer up any peel, and now he himself is at risk. Continue to play forward, but they'll break Krong out of the mech, finish off this baby D.Va. Rio, there's just not too much that he can do here as he's discorded up. They have to surrender this cap. And it's now a minute and a half remaining for the Spark, still with ults in tow to try to finish the map.
Very cool that Gushue does still manage to get the mines. I was maybe concerned that the mines weren't going to appear, but there it was. And the rest of the Hangzhou Spark going to come on through. Krong trying to do some more heroics there as well. He's like, well, Bernard gets multi-frags every D.Va bomb. I might try and go for it. Doesn't quite happen. Coldest just with a solo frag out the gate of the 5-ball on the Karib's head. And this is just snowballing its way through.
Yep. I mean, I think people have been confused about why Coldest is in. He's been looking really good when it comes down to just neutral exchanges on Zenyatta. He's been finding so many kills.
Yep. Also,
builds up these Transcendences very rapidly.
He's very well known for the Zenyatta. That's something that MCD is maybe weaker on. MCD is much more stronger on Moira and Ana. Those are his two signature picks. But Zen is Coldest signature pick, so you know he's getting some game time now. This is what Coldest can do, and is doing very well on this pick so far.
Maybe looking for a bit of a flank angle for Bernard to try to find yet another multi-kill with this self-destruct that he just seems to always have available. He's trying to protect his squad, but dive into the back, and Krong is just going to find both supports, and yeah, the rest of them are going to fall to the wayside from there. Bernard says, okay, well, I'll just wait, go again, but with 13 seconds remaining, somebody's going to need the touch. He calls out for both the Tracers. Architect going to be hounded down. Gushue, he's going to have to try to touch here, looking to keep him zoned back. They look to push him off. They get the shield bash, they get the flashbang, and they ensure that he cannot make it there. So the cart will not get another opportunity. Bernard will not get to use this self-destruct to try to push them across the finish line. So there's a very real win condition now on the line for the side of the Guangzhou Charge to take us to a map 5.
That was actually incredible for Mandu. Shield bash straight into then Rio with the halt and no option for Gushue to roll forward. Yeah, just all the stuns coming through at the same time, all the CCs coming in, and not even an opportunity for Bernard to throw a self-destruct into the sky. And who knows, if they manage to get a touch over, if Hangzhou Spark manage to find another fight, Bernard gets another 2 to 3k, possibly they cap there. I will say though, despite Krong not finding the same self-destruct value, his ability to just dive and press shift and just killed 2 members here. Both supports is incredible. And that's a replay there. Burnout self-destruct onto the bridge, finding 3 and getting Hangzhou Spark value to get the A cap and eventually the B cap there as well. But Krong's heroics on that last defensive fight, getting both Mika and Coldest down, is what enables Charge to at least hold C.
Alright, well, now situated for the defense. Choice A1 looking like he might want to start things off with a Pharah. I mean, it's a fairly safe bet that it's going to be the Tracer Hanzo to greet him out the gate, so should feel pretty much at home with this.
Eileen going to be taking pot shots out of spawn as well. I mean, he saw what Shai was doing. He's not going to find a fire in the sky. It's always a risk, though. You always want to do your due diligence here just in case. Maybe Hangzhou Spark want to change something up. But I don't even know if we've really seen Mika and Hangzhou Spark go for any sort of fire plays here. That was more of an IDK thing. So it is going to be the swap off of the Guangzhou Charge. And actually, Eileen on the hunt. No, he baited us. He's still on the Mikri.
Yep, still sticking through with that, so. No rockets, no arrows for the Charge. So they just tucked away indoors. To wrap around from behind, trying to out-rotate. Cold is taking quite a bit of damage. Falls down 25 HP. He does have that mini pack he can grab. And oh, choice they want. He gets there before Bernard can. He went to try to peel. Doesn't manage to make it happen. Flashbang greets Gushue as he comes down with a pile driver. Still going to be fairly safe as Krong gets the corner there onto Mika. Just completely pinning him, flattening him against the wall. And this is looking like an absolutely superb first push for the side of the Guangzhou Charge.
This has just been Guangzhou pretty much the entire day. Again, opening fights have just been incredibly successful in here. I'm not even too sure what hit Coldest because he was instantly on 25 HP. Could have been Kareev, could have been Eileen with the long range shots, and then Choi Sik-wan in a position just to get the last tick in terms of tick of damage. Gushue being challenged by Choi. I mean, this is important, by the way, because part of the success for the Hangzhou Spark in terms of breaking this bunker is Gushue setting up behind, going for a pile drive, and allowing Spark to find it engaged. But if Choi locks him down, marks him, and prevents Gushue from finding value, that gives Guangzhou Charge a lot more room to play with.
Shots flying through. So we just have this wet noodle fight here on the high ground. Shai joining the fray, though, makes things considerably more deadly, especially as Eileen just does that. Rolls up, finds Coldest again. Just finding these shots that, you know, I can't even spot them out. With the help of the Amp Matrix, gets that one-tap kill. Yeah. I think we might need to inspect this PC. That's not really allowed. Bernard going to be taken out. Gushue as well going to be following suit. And, I mean, Charge are just going to continue to live up to their name, just storming through this map right now.
This has been clean. They haven't lost a single fight.
I know, and it's so bittersweet is what I was about to say. Supercharger down just to try to dissuade the approach. They dive in up top. They find Shai. Transcendence still going to be used by Coldest, so they want to try to hold this here in front of point B. They have the cart halted up for now. Eileen doesn't find too much, but still puts a significant amount of damage in onto Gushue, and they get the finish with a whip shot. Now turning their sights over onto the rest of the Spark. Bernard under fire and risk of losing out on this mech. Does have the self-destruct to try to get back in, and Mika as well is just topping everybody up with this armor.
Shai down again.
Finishes rolling through. They will find Shai. I mean, this is the success that they were finding when if you think back to Ilios, was just constantly focus firing Shai. It took him out of the fight at every twist and turn, and that allowed them to fairly cleanly take that map. Pulse Bomb greets Bernard as soon as he gets back to the mech. He's immediately going to be defected yet again. Architect barely survives and still holds on to this Pulse Bomb, but seems like he's going to have to hold it for the final stretch. He zips his way around, actually lets the Pulse go, and it might have gotten canceled by his death animation, because I didn't see it land anywhere on the ground. Card all the same, it's going to be gliding into point B, and it's over 4.5 minutes remaining for the side of the Charge, and they're about to have 3 ults to utilize.
And Hangzhou have nothing. They got absolutely nothing. Coldest nearly onto a Transcendence, that's about it. Charge already pushing into spawn. And by the way, I mean, we complimented Coldest, but he's been taken out time and time again early on. I think that also happened on the Ilios map. Was one of the key members that was getting bullied alongside Shai by the Guangzhou Charge. So, opportunity now for Charge to get a clean win. This window just cannot be challenged whatsoever.
Shots flying in. Shai will find Rio. That's going to be a considerable amount of time bought as they wait for him to rejoin. In the meantime, the rest of the Spark starts pressing up, and Mandu's still going to be committing the rally to the fight. Transcendence will match from Coldest, but he's going to have Mika to back him up pretty soon with a rally of their own. They're looking to try to break down the enemy Brigida, but Mondo comes out on top of that 1v1 duel. Gets rid of Mika. Back to the spawn room as Bernard just zipping around like a gnat, tries to stay elusive and will manage to escape with his life intact. Self-destruct from Krong, doesn't manage to find too much. The minefield's now going to be greeting them on the entryway. Dragon Strike crashing through the team. Mandu will fall. Everybody else hovering dangerously low HP levels despite the immortality field. So pickoffs will continue to come through, but the time bank still looking decent for the side of the Charge. Could just come in here with some eco pushes and then just throw everything in the kitchen sink at the Spark.
Yeah, that Dragon Strike really cleaning up there for the Hangzhou Spark. If it wasn't for that, I think Charge could still play. And you actually see in the silhouette from the POV of Shy that Krong was on the other side. So there was a high risk there that actually Krong gets to eat. And if Krong does eat that Dragon Strike, it's actually over. Charge just continue rolling on through. They're fine. They don't have to leave. And they're on a good position. So just under 3 minutes now. Another window almost being built up. Double damage boosting there with the Bongo up from Rio as well. And there it is. Drop down the Supercharger is.
Yep, place it right back around the corner. Now start moving into the site. Just 3.5 meters left to go. Multiple ultimates that they're going to have to try to chew through, though, on the side of the Charge if they want to make this happen. Bernard lets the bomb go, and it's just going to be the immortality field this time around. Good flashbang. Eileen finds Architect at point-blank range. And I think he might have lost another pulse bomb in that moment. It's hard to say, but either way, they get rid of him, they take him out of the fight. Try to say one will be traded, but now Eileen finds Coldest. Shy is going to fall. Deadeye crashing through. Not going to be able to find any picks. Cart so very close now to keeping this series going. Mika going to be eliminated. Bernard makes his way back into the back, and Eileen, and his shots are just nasty. Gets Architect, gets Gushue. Bernard just getting chipped away at. The Transcendence comes in, but it's far too late to try to keep Bernard mech'd up. So now just a baby Diva and a Zenyatta to try to keep this card contested. The Dragon Strike finds no picks, and it will move forward. We are not done yet. Guangzhou Charge fighting back, looking to go out on a high note, will win Rialto and take us to a 5th and final map.
It's a feels-good moment for the Guangzhou Charge, but at the same time as well, equally so, the heartbreak continues, because you know now, you've confirmed now that had they won Volskaya, or had they won, Numbani, this would have been a 3-1 result. Charge would have made it. They'd be in the knockouts. They would have done it. They were so close. I mean, this was such a clean map. A and B were complete stomps, complete roll-throughs. Okay, C was fairly contentious, but C on any map usually is. Eileen as well is hitting so many nasty shots. I mean, everybody else is playing default Overwatch. This guy's playing with attachments on his gun. It's just not fair. And what else isn't fair is just living with the fact that Guangzhou Charge could have absolutely had this 3-1. But unfortunately, we are going to, see if we're going to be seeing a bit more Guangzhou Charge. I don't know why I said unfortunately. I mean, that's a good thing. This is our last time seeing them, so it is a very good thing. It's just unfortunate that you don't get to see them send it out on the highest of notes, which would be cleaning up the 3-1, which they could have had.
Well, Lijiang Tower is what is standing between the Guangzhou Charge and taking this victory away from the Spark, hurting their opportunities in the future and denying some points away even further. We'll see if they can get it done or if the Hangzhou Spark are going to be able to close it out. Either way, Map 5 is going to be coming up in just a few minutes, so stay tuned. Alrighty, we are back, and it's time for a Map 5 here in our final series of the regular season in APAC. Guangzhou Charge able to take a win on Rialto means that we are going to Lijiang Tower to settle the score and see who is going to be walking away with a win. For the Charge, this is all about pride for showing their fans, like, yep, you know, it might have been a rough season, but we got there in the end. Look forward to more in the future. The Hangzhou Spark, playing for points. Some damn important points.
Yeah, very important points, because if Hangzhou Spark don't get this point, then, I mean, winning here almost makes no sense, because if you are going to lose to the Charge, you want to lose to them in a case where they knock New York Excelsior out. But there's no world where Hangzhou Spark like lose to the Charge, but then also allow the New York Excelsior to move on through to the knockouts. Like, that's ridiculous. That doesn't help Hangzhou in any way. So this is like a nightmare scenario for Hangzhou if they don't want to win. So suddenly, you know, we started this broadcast, we started this matchup with massive stakes on the line, huge pressure for the Guangzhou Charge to win. I think that's going to reverse now. It's actually on the Hangzhou Spark to clean this one up 3-2. Otherwise, their season may indeed be in jeopardy if New York somehow then get a win versus Chengdu. I know that's going to be pretty tough, but New York right now, they're celebrating pretty hard because, once again, for like the third time this season, they've been gifted an opportunity to go into knockouts and maybe even further there. Funnier than that is how quickly the New York fans have kind of swapped allegiances from Hangzhou to Guangzhou, faster than Game of Thrones villain here, because they now need Guangzhou to beat Hangzhou to give their team the best shot possible.
I gotta say, you know, for all of the media that I consume and all the references and movies that I understand, never really watched Game of Thrones. I watched like 5 episodes, and I just never really sank into it. So
it's below you. It's beneath you. You know?
I've heard enough, and I know how it ends. So maybe I'll watch the first 5 seasons eventually, but never was able to really dive into it.
It's good. It's a reasonable. I thoroughly enjoyed it in its time. It's one of the few things I'm glad I caught, you know, live in terms
while
of
it was the buzz.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. I missed the boat on Breaking Bad, but I'm glad I caught Game of Thrones when it was still popular. So, still a bit of a wee lad back in the day, I have to say, man. It's been a long time, as now kind of feels like time has moved fairly quickly from start of the season till the end of the season. Not that long ago when we were opening the show on day 1 of the Overwatch League for the season in May, and now the final match of the regular season about to conclude on the very final map here. And again, the send-off map for the Guangzhou Charge, as this will be the last time we will be seeing them this year. So let's see how they do, and maybe they can still clutch up a final win before they say goodbye.
Try to go out with a bang. Architect, though, speaking of bang, he's going to be starting with the Pharah. Shy shifting over now to the Sombra. He's already postured in onto the point. Gushue just hiding behind the pillar, waiting for the approach to happen.
By the way, Choi Se-Hwan's like, I knew it! I knew the Pharah was coming, but the one time Choi doesn't play Pharah, Architect does, and he's like, damn it, I should have gone Pharah as well.
Well, he has an early death. Maybe we'll see a swap come in. They're looking to just isolate Gushue. Good CC, but D-Matrix off the flank there from Bernard will keep him alive. Choi Se-Hwan gets rid of Shy's translocator. Bionade managed to find 3, though, and 2 of them are going to get killed off. Shy finding both of those. And now the D-Mech onto Krong. They will finish off the 3rd. So a quick little initial cap from the side of the Guangzhou Charge, but very swiftly goes back into the hands of the Hangzhou Spark.
And Rio's going to swap over to Balls. There has been one swap. I think Kariv actually swapped as well over towards Anna. I don't think he started on that, so that's where things are now going to be. I'm not too sure about the Anna, honestly, because there's not great nano targets unless you want a nano Eileen. But, I mean, we've seen York try that strategy to mixed success when they tried to nano Guangdong. Also, there's McCree here, but there is now going to be nano available for Architect. And that's going to be a ton of damage flying on through, plus the barrage.
Choi Se-Hwan about to have the pulse online. Architect gonna die. Eileen just finds the kill. See if they can maybe get a res off. Mika likely gonna be looking for it, especially now that he has the Valkyrie popped. Pulse bomb gonna be taken away. Bernard finds that 8. Krong gonna be demeched, and the res does in fact come through. So right back into the fight with the barrage. He instantly pulls the trigger on it. Manages to find Mondu. Jump around the side, direct hit onto Kariv. It just didn't really see it coming, wasn't prepared. And this flip is not gonna happen, at least not yet for Charge.
And now, I mean, it was a good start. They got rid of a really important hero. They got rid of Architect through Eileen. That was no nano required either, by the way. Kariv didn't even have it. We'll have it soon. So just doing it dry, just doing it normally. And despite that, Spark will still win that fight. I mean, now they have a ton of ultimates, EMP included. EMP targets should primarily be on Rio or Krong if they can help it.
See you later.
And then we'll see how Kareev can defend his team. Possibly, you know, Nano, Aline again, it will be the prime option. Other than that, if Krong or Rio go low, there could be secondary options.
I'm ready to initiate self-destruct sequence.
All right. Waiting for the approach. Eileen will find Coldest. It's a solid way to start things off. EMP going to be used. Solo EMP. Hacks out Rio. They will find that kill, but Tristan gets a punish. 2-1 trade up now for the side of the Guangzhou Charge, but they still need to get themselves onto the point. Now they lose Kareev. Architect finds him yet again. And are going to be demeked. Gets finished there. Cap nearly coming through. OT going to be forced out. Gushway goes in for the reapproach, but is very swiftly dealt with. Flip will come in. Now the question is, can they hold this?
It's been very impressive to see Eileen find these opening picks and just getting kills in general. He's been on a tear for the last 2 to 3-ish kind of maps, and we were talking about Krong for the most part, but really Eileen just slowly creeping in there, finding such high value kills. Coldest just gets melted straight away by Eileen. It's an instant 6v5. Now, see how the rest of this fight goes. Rio with the mines, quite aggressively I might add.
Pulse bomb out. Shy gonna get clipped by that one. Nice little stick from Choice A1 to buy some time and further delay the EMP. But Rez will come in, so doesn't buy a whole lot, but at least puts that on cooldown. So Architect has yet another barrage, and there's a Nano to back him up, keep him extra protected. Be damn sure that Bernard, if he's got the mech intact, he's going to be looking for the D-Matrix as well to protect. Maybe he doesn't even need it, but yeah, he's going to drop it in. They will get that Sleep Dart connection right before Kareev falls, it seems. The damage is still very much dealt, and the flip is coming back through now. 99% OT going to be forced out for just a moment. Rio hiding around the back. Going to be waiting to go for this recontest, but OT starting to plummet pretty quickly. He makes his way over to the point, interrupts the hack coming through, but there's still just too much damage, or maybe he didn't interrupt it either way. He falls down. Good pick off. And Shy just greets Krong, gives him the same treatment, says, yeah, I know you've got that self-destruct. Now you're not going to be able to utilize it. Gushway will crash through. They find the elimination, and it seems like that is going to be the first round going the way of the Hangzhou Spark, looking to close this out. One more to go. They will have completed this win. Guangzhou Charge now need to reply in a very strong way as we get ready to go into the next round.
Spark had the ultimates for a one and done there. I mean, you just Nano over towards Architect, he barrages, and now you start to see the value of the Nano. It's not just talking about damage coming through, but he got dropped down quite low. I think he was below a quarter HP at one stage during the Nano. If it wasn't for the 50% damage reduction, he probably would have gone down. So that's just going to keep Architect in towards play. And then obviously once you hit the OT, Shy being on the point into Sombra, whoever is going to touch is going to get hacked out. The only member that probably doesn't get hacked is Choice A1, who can blink around and then recall away, which he kind of does, but there was no hope there for Rio. He goes on, dies, Krong goes on, dies, and there was still an EMP, by the way. Shy could have still EMP'd had there been another fight, as now just Spike once again come out on towards the fire.
Yeah, not going to be matching it, still going to be sticking through. Choice A1 on the Tracer. Decent dinks here from Eileen to start things off, but hasn't translated into any kills yet. Gets hacked, pulls back to the safety of the point. Just denying as many sightlines as they possibly can, and Choice A1, he will hound down Shy, catching him at his translocator, it seems, to get that elimination. Eileen getting pushed around, will manage to take out Coldest before falling. See if Mika can try to bring him back into the frame, but now he's got to choose between Coldest and Architect, and I don't think he's going to find the position for either. Will, in fact, get finished off by Krong in the end. Yet again, the Guangzhou Charge, they will cap the point first here on Night Market, but seems like this time they've got a bit more staying power.
And the fact that, by the way, Eileen is implicated, he's pretty much guaranteed dead there. He was knocked onto the side and still finds an opportunity to go 1-for-1 and trades Coldest is huge. I mean, that is such a clean play. Beyond that as well, Krong going for what could have been a solo kill to Architect, assisted by Kareev. It just all goes Guangzhou Charge's way. Yeah, that's Coldest is not having a great time today in these last couple of maps. He's just been picked out early so many times in a row.
Yeah, focus firing him. Does have that nano boost ready now that he's respawned. We'll see if they can find a decent amount of value out of it. Likely target is going to have to be Architect, you would anticipate. As he's just 20% shy from that barrage, would certainly at least guarantee that he gets the ult available. Eileen under a bit of pressure. Again, the pile driver comes in, but Harmon packs. Immortality field are greeted. And yep, Coldest picked off. Just not going to be able to use this ultimate, it seems. Eileen, he's got the read on Shy, rolls around the corner. It's a flashbang headshot combo. Architect will trade out here against the Cowboy, but still not a great look. Plenty of time now bought. And yeah, sure, the bongo is rolling currently, but there's 5 other ultimates to back up basically here for the side of the Charge.
And they don't even need the supercharge. They didn't even need it that last fight. It just rolls on through. It's like, all right, well, I guess we won three times in a row. Choice one is still coldest, and then we'll force to be res that one. Okay, the res is available. There's a pulse bomb. Okay, look at this. Choi just does he get just a stake onto coldest? Can we make it 4 times in a row?
He's on the hunt.
This is getting ridiculous.
I think he's trying to wrap around the back. Let's see if he can actually make it happen. Checking him out. Nano Boost will get used this time. Cold is still going to be under some pressure. Pulse Bomb hasn't been used yet. The barrage from Architect will find Rio as well as Choi Se-Wan. Rally rolling, but the sleep comes in. Mandu left to die on the ground. Architect pounding his way in onto the point. They will get the flip coming in at 97% established for the side of the Charge, but they use the rally short, but they still have 4 ultimates to try to retake this.
It's been rough. It's been pretty rough. By the way, Coldest has had 6 deaths so far, more than any other player on his team, and 3 of them are just to Choi Se-Wan and just on Night Market as well. So it's been a rough going so far, and it's a 97% lead. This kind of reminds you of Ilios in a way, as they had huge 98-99 leads. Window comes on through. Kushra can minefield this at any point. Just holding tight for now.
Bionade in onto 3. Immortality Field used to try to keep him alive. Architect will find Choi Se-Wan. Self-destruct out from Bernard. Shield raised, Mondo keeps himself protected. Now Krong going to be responding in kind, looks for some picks, doesn't manage to find anything, but we'll see if they can get back into the mech, and they still manage to trade up, but the fight is away from the point. They need to make their way over, get this cap coming through to try to close out the round and take us to that 3rd and final control center. That being said, Rio going to be picked off screen, back over towards the Spark spawn room. Deadeye to try to delay. Stick comes in. Oh, but the Immortality Field is there. It's available. Karif keeps him alive. Choi Se-Wan with a pulse of his own. Believe it. He finds Coldest again. Now the Pharmacy Duo is going to be taken out of the sky. Karif does go down, so Mandu's going to be the sole healer on the side of the Guangzhou Charge. But Spark, they have none. They have absolutely nothing as Gushui gets shoved away, sent sailing off the side of the map. And 100% to 50 reply. Guangzhou Charge are taking us to the very limits of the game within this best of 5 series. Best of 3 series, I should say. They are taking us now into the 3rd round of the 5th map.
For anyone curious, by the way, no, this would not be better if Coldest was on Zen. In fact, it'd probably be worse. Ana has way more capability to self-defend,
best of 5.
Especially against Choi Se-Wan's Tracer. So Ana is by far the better pick there if you actually just want to live. So that's why it's even more impressive that Choi Se-Wan is time and time again just directly onto Coldest, first pick, and that just gives you a 6v5. Beyond that as well, Eileen's still fragging, but there was a point there where Charge had something like 5 ultimates because they just won fight so cleanly off initial picks, they don't need to do anything else. Here we go, Rio's come out on towards a Ryan, which has been described to me as like similar to the Orisa composition, but just in a more mobile way. So Rio is playing Orisa that can actually move around with the shield, but otherwise everybody's on pretty much the same picks, except for the fact that there's 2 legs on field between Architect and Choi.
Yep, extremely mobile here. Soldier, double McCree for both sides. Eileen already finds Gushui. Nice shots, and they have the Spark contained away from the point off the flank. Flashbang not going to find too much. But again, gets that established first cap. I mean, that whip shot could have been massive.
That would have been deadly. I was waiting to see if someone's going to get booped off the map, and Mandu would have really loved that.
Yep, I mean, they're trying to get their way back in. Gushui having since swapped over onto the Reinhardt. Attack visor available from Architect first. I mean, builds this up so rapidly, was just absolutely outputting damage. Oh, they'll take Rio so very low. Discord orbs out onto him to get the shield raised back up. Then I'm not going to be able to find anything. It's a great immortality field from Karif to make sure that they can keep that front line alive. Bernard, however, goes forward, manages to find Choi Se-Wan. Both Ryan's going to be hitting the ground as they go for the pin for pin. Swinging away, Rio will fall. It's Coldest going to be the only casualty so far on the side of the Spark, and it seems like that's going to be the only kill that the Charger are able to get. They still managed to establish almost 50% on the point. Now they need the retake, which has proven to be difficult.
Well, they have ultimates though. I mean, consider that Karif just used a Matrix last fight, and now he has one as he goes down, so he nearly had double windows that particular fight. Talked about the tag visor coming in through. It's Choi Se-Wan's turn. Visor plus a window, pretty deadly combo. Both teams have plenty of ultimates as well. This could come down to Shatters as well. I can see Rio and Gushui potentially lining up for Shatters.
Oh. Felix Rockets connecting with both McCrees. Shy and Eileen kind of taking those ones to the face. Rio, however, going to be dead on the front line again. Off angle, though, Eileen will find Shy, making it a 1-for-1 between these McCrees. Attack Visor rolls from choice they want. Looking for a target, but the D-Matrix moves up into his face, so he's not able to find too much else. Rally armor as well. Certainly not helping. Everybody is well topped up. Coldest in particular, who is certainly the one who needs it the most right now on the side of the Spark, given the deaths that he's been suffering across these last few rounds. Shield going to be broken. Immortality Field comes out. The Shatter is absolutely massive from Rio. Puts everybody on the ground, but they're only able to find Mika. Shy gets up, immediately gets some revenge onto Eileen. The McCree's going to be traded back. Detective Bernard, however, do fall. So now the Guangzhou Charge have the innate advantage. They just have to get Guangzhou off this point, which they will manage to do. The flip comes in, and they can certainly retake a lead from here.
I'm not going to lie, I thought it was going to come down to Shatters, but not like that, because Rio went down. They had to wait for Rio to come back into play. And thankfully there was ultimates being used by Charge to force Spark back. Otherwise, Guangzhou would have just walked up and maybe gone for a Shatter earlier himself. Might have been assisted by Aileen. I'm pretty sure that was a flash into a Shatter. Otherwise, Guangzhou must have just made a mistake.
Oh, well, speaking of making mistakes, Shatter comes down, manages to find two. Even Mondu both hitting the ground, might have even been a third. Rio now eliminated. It seems like it's not going to be too much of a lead established here for the side of the Charge. The point is in danger of getting flipped yet again. Shy just fiercely presses forward, knows that he's got the backup there. We'll find three as he takes out both supports. Looks for Krong, can't quite get the killing blow. 86% established, 20% lead right now for the Charge. A couple ults getting ready to come online, but is that going to be good enough?
Yeah, because you now have Hangzhou Spark looking towards ults as well, really important ones. Coldest with the amplification matrix, rather. It's going to talk about self-destruct, and that's coming through from Krong. So
yeah,
if they want to really play into the amp matrix, Krong will need to send this forward and try and bomb behind, similar to what Bernard has been doing on the other maps. Front to back, though. Here we go.
Is that instantly? Oh my god, as soon as he pops the rally, they
gone.
instantly annihilate Mondu. That is catastrophic right now. Bomb into the back from Krong, not going to be able to find anything. The Immortality Field does get forced out in that exchange from both teams. Eileen gets a headshot nicely down there on a Shy, follows up for one on the Architect, the DPS duo, now out of the fight. Rally, however, rolling from Mika, just trying to give some staying power as they wait for the reinforcements to join in, and Eileen's going to get taken down as Mika presses forward up into his face. Gonna get that elimination, and despite Guangzhou falling so very low, they cannot finish him off. Shatter gonna be dropped in from Rio. And just knock Bernard to the ground. The Fire Strike finds Guangzhou. Mika eliminated. Deadeye rolling as they play back behind the wall. They poke out for just a moment. Shot comes through, but it will not connect. Bernard going to be using the self-destruct. Mortality Field comes in. Now Amp Matrix invested from Karib. Tries to keep them in this fight. Krong survives with a sliver of HP, and Architect going to be dead on the flank. Attack Visor interrupted. The Guangzhou Charge should be able to flip this through. Shatter drops in, manages to find two. Krong and Karib now on the floor,
this could be it.
but they're safely able to stand back up. That might have been an overextension there from Guangzhou, who now needs to stay alive. If he gets picked off, it's almost certainly over, but they're piling in onto the Reinhardt. Everything is being used to try to keep him alive, but can they touch the point? I don't think they can. They finally manage to get a tap in as Bernard swapped over onto the Wrecking Ball. He tries to crash in, is greeted by the Shield Bash. Attack Visor rolling from choice A1. The Immortality Field is up, as well as the Rally Armor to keep him going in the fight. And Matrix out from Coldest, but Guangzhou going to fall. Eileen on the high ground finds him with a Deadeye. Takes a bit of damage, has to pull back to safety, but now Mika is going to be eliminated. It seems like the Guangzhou Charge very well may have made this happen. As we are 99 to 99. They need to stay on the point, but they are just losing out of members. Architect, the last one left. He will fall, and the Guangzhou Charge will close out Lijiang Tower. They will close out this series 3-2. Sure, it's got to feel good, but it's also got to be a bit bittersweet, as this is the end of the line. You can see minor elation from some of the players, but I think the overall reality of their situation has kind of crashed down upon them. They at least get to go out with a win. They get to show their fans that they got it together at the end. This team, this roster can perform. It's just unfortunate that it happened when it was just a bit too late.
Exactly, and look, they played those final moments so well as well. I mean, Eileen, I think twice in a row, gets a solo frag on Shy. Like, he just eliminates the biggest carry on the other side. You see the desperation. Guangzhou tries to go for a final shadow. Like, maybe I can save this. Maybe I can turn it around. Speaking of which, by the way, it looked like it was Spark taking the win there. Rio drops a shadow down, gets a kill. Suddenly things slowly turning around. Kareem has a beautifully timed Immortality Field. I think he even dropped down to 1 HP there, so he saves his own life if nothing else. Drops the Amp Matrix, and things slowly turn around, and that was just momentum being built up bit by bit, brick by brick for the Guangzhou Charge, and they eventually will get it across the line. It is so bittersweet, Ilios, because, I mean, the Guangzhou Charge win, Hangzhou Spark lose, But the Guangzhou Charge also kind of lose, which means the only team that does win is the New York Excelsior.
Is New York.
Congratulations, New York Excelsior. You won in this match overall.
In every
I gotta
facet.
say. Yeah, you really did win, so well done in New York.
I mean, New York's just sitting there doing absolutely jack all and profiting in every single which way that they possibly could from this series. That's a good feeling for them and for the NYXL fans. But man, I mean, what a down to the wire series at the end here. Wonderfully played Lijiang Tower from both of these squads. But let's go ahead and get into it. Our final player of the match to get gifted over to the side of the Guangzhou Charge here in the 2021 season. That is going to go over to Eileen.
Yep.
I'm hearing some of the Chinese commentators in my ear. We'll dip that out. There we go.
And it's not me.
Yeah, well deserved. Well deserved, Eileen.
Absolutely. I mean, I think twice now. You look at Krong, and Krong did some great stuff
Sure.
there, but I think when you look at Eileen, we're
These
joking
very last
about
moments.
We're joking about not even the last. It's all over. I think all maps, every single map, you get great value. Finding picks out of nowhere. There was that great kill to burn. I think it was here actually. This was the first moment where, like, hang on a second, how does he even see that? How does he get that kill? And from this moment onwards, Eileen only just made more and more plays exactly like this, all across control center as well. I heavily believe that one of the key factors for Charge to actually take that last round on Lijiang Tower was his solo kills on towards Shy. Shy then comes back on a Reaper, and it's just like, well, I don't think that's going to be enough. It's not like Shy, coming out at a Doomfist on Numbani here, just cleaning things up. There's Eileen with the Deadeye frags as well, with the 4K on this particular player that ends up securing Guangzhou Charge defense. Just brilliant stuff all day from Eileen as a player that I think, since he got added to the starting roster, has only gone from strength to strength, and to me is one of the three, like, seriously elite Chinese DPS players alongside Shy and Leaf.
Yeah.
And Jinmu when Jinmu plays fire.
Wasn't sure what to expect when we saw him just, straying away from a Hangzhou that had been so very consistent. But I mean, you see some of these shots. He's getting pushed around by concussive blasts, by Wrecking Ball, by Bernard on the Diva, and he is still just managing to just have this perfect tracking of his targets. I mean, that is just absolutely elite aim being shown here by Eileen. I mean, you can't do much more than just continue to sing his praises. I mean, almost 60,000 damage done throughout the series. Granted, yes, it did go all the way to 5 maps. He was primarily playing the McCree throughout this. But, I mean, 91 limbs, it's just disgusting, the amount of shots that this guy was nailing. So I'd say it's a very nice high note to go out on for Eileen, just albeit, again, an unfortunate one.
Yeah, it is. It's if there's one way to go out, at least go out on a win. I think Charge couldn't hope for much more, considering, the 3-1 dream ended, but still, if you can prove yourself, you can prove to the fans, you can prove to everyone that, hey, we have the capability of beating a team like Hangzhou, who have been, I think, one of their closest rivals, not just this season, but every season. This is a sort of case where, I mean, there was a stat line that came up that said 2 of the last times that Hangzhou have played Guangzhou Charge, it's been all Spark favored. Spark have gone 2-0. So this could have been a 3-0. And this is the similar rivalry to what we saw between Philadelphia and New York, where New York had won 2 out of 3 meetings in the first 2, and then Philly came back on the third one. This is Charge's version of that, where on the third meeting between 2 teams, finally the team that were down 0-2 get one in the books. And I think it's a good feeling for the Charge to get one over longtime rivals, and then to also finish their season with a W. And look, if you're not going to progress any further, then this is the way you want to end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just, you can't make your way in there, but do as much damage as you possibly can for the opponents that have kind of knocked you out of the play-ins and out of this final tournament of the season. So, nicely done. They end up winning the Battle of the Average Joes in the end. So, just solid. I mean, some back and forth, and it sucks so much to see because the Charge have been on this absolute warpath of improvement, and they showed us here that they can contest with some of the middling teams in the league. I mean, obviously, like Hangzhou have had their moments where, they have bested the top squads. They've taken them either to map 5s or if they've actually toppled them. So, that's not a team that is exactly a pushover either. So, to be able to take them down here at the end, I think it's a solid look. And I think that people should definitely look forward to seeing them in the future, in the upcoming seasons of Overwatch League. If they stick with this roster, you never know what's going to happen when it comes down to the off-season, but it seems like they finally did find that groove, and I think that if they decide to stick together, there is a very large ceiling for this team moving forward.
I think if there was, a few more matches to play, if there was a little bit more, maybe hypothetically, if there was a 5th tournament this season, I can see Guangzhou Charge coming back big time. It is a real shame that they finally managed to find their groove this late into the season, but there's always, the phrase of better late than never, which perfectly describes the Guangzhou Charge. And Hangzhou Charge Hangzhou Spark have themselves had many tumultuous moments where they kind of start poorly, they get much better, and then they kind of have a rough go of it. And now, their fate is also no longer within their own hands. They have to be massive fans of Chengdu. To be fair, Chengdu is heavily favored to beat New York, but Spark have kind of, in a weird way, Ilios done themselves no favors in this particular matchup, because if you want to min-max, you should either lose to the Guangzhou Charge 1-3 or 0-3, or you should just beat them cleanly and not go down, or just beat them at all. Actually, you should just win versus the Guangzhou Charge. So this is probably the worst result that the Hangzhou Spark could get. Which is a really weird thing, honestly. So they have to kind of hope now that Chengdu clean up New York, and then Hangzhou Spark will still be will still be in for players.
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. Those matches are upcoming. Not too much turnaround to try to get prepared for the knockouts, because they are upon us tomorrow. But I mean, much like the Guangzhou Charge, our regular season, Avril, has now come to an end. But for you and I, as casters, for the APAC region. But I think we still. What do you think? I think we could manage a couple more broadcasts. I think we could make that happen.
I think we could probably come back tomorrow and do a knockout or something like that. I think we could. Yeah, I think there might be a little bit left in the tank. We'll see.
I think we'll do that. I think Jaws and Vicky can manage it as well. So, guys, we will be returning tomorrow for the knockouts, and from there, we'll have to just kind of wait and see when we see you next. But plenty more Overwatch to be played. There's going to be some high-tension matches, of course, for the last tournament of the year. We'll see who is going to be able to go forward and represent the APAC region, whether or not they can bring home yet another win. Until then, guys, just be kind to each other. Be good. Wear your masks. Stay safe. Stop the spread of COVID so that we can go back to some offline play. That would be cool, right?
It would be. Please.
Maybe don't talk about what language people are using to communicate in the chat. As far as I'm concerned, this is a global broadcast. Sure, we might be speaking English, but that doesn't mean that all of you guys need to do it. So just be kind to each other. Be cool, and we'll see you right here again tomorrow. Same place, same time. Mwah.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.